The story begins in the year 2077, when a virtual game called the Apocalypse suddenly became a reality for all of humanity. Vast hordes of terrifying monsters, bursting out of virtual space, rushed to the ground and invaded the real world with merciless fury. The world order that had been built over centuries was destroyed overnight, and the world turned into a real hell, where chaos and fear reigned. In connection with these catastrophic events, superpowers that had previously seemed impossible and existed only in fantasy awakened in many people. These abilities allowed desperate Earthlings, on the brink of extinction, to somehow fight against the huge hordes of monsters and protect the remnants of civilization. In a world of chaos where all previous values are crumbling, the richest playboy in Jian City is a guy named Yexiao. Despite the enormous threats that lurk at every turn, he can still protect Luruyan well from any dangers. The guy spent a fortune to hire 10 experts who would help raise the girl's level and provide her with the best possible development. Yexiao spared no expense, spending his entire fortune on purchasing divine artifacts for the girl, without thinking about the consequences. Any opportunity for improvement or equipment Yexiao immediately gave to Luruyan, not keeping anything he found or acquired for himself. Thanks to the young man, the girl finally became the strongest gold-level hero in the land of dragons, reaching the pinnacle of power. Today is the day when Yexiao and Luruyan are to get married, and everyone is eagerly awaiting this special moment. The surrounding guests whisper among themselves, envy and consider the young people to be the ideal couple, made for each other by fate. Many girls also dream of meeting a rich and attractive guy like Yexiao, who is ready to do anything for the sake of his beloved. The young man begins to ask the girl if she will marry him, but she does not let him finish and gently covers his mouth with her hand. The young people embrace tenderly. The guy waits for the girl to give an affirmative answer, hoping to hear the cherished word of consent. However, after some time, Luruyan suddenly says that she will not become the guy's wife, destroying all his hopes with one phrase. This news shocks Yexiao, and at that very moment, the girl plunges her hand into his chest with ruthless determination. The boy watches in horror as Luruyan rips his heart out of his chest, oblivious to his suffering. She then approaches the stranger, who is clearly her second boyfriend, and asks Yexiao if he really thought he could buy feelings with money. The guy falls to the ground in shock, and the girl's voice is heard saying that buying the equipment does not allow him to morally force her into marriage. Luruyan smiles slyly, and licking the guy's heart, says that she accepted his gifts. But this does not mean that she will be attached to him. She approaches the young man and says that he is the only one who understands her suffering, and now she will give Yexiao's heart to him. The new suitor approaches Yexiao and contemptuously calls him trash, after which he orders him to die and not bother them any further. After which he casually steps on his face with his boot, demonstrating complete contempt for his defeated opponent. The young man is pierced by an explosion of emotions. He does not understand why Luruyan did this, because for her he gave all of himself. The guy begins to fall into the void and thinks about whether this is really so that, in the end, the girl will betray him. He feels his heart turning to ashes, and he wonders with regret if this is how it will all end. Slowly closing his eyes, he continues to fall into the void, and thinks that he no longer has a heart. However, he finds the strength in himself to say a decisive no. He is not going to let it end so ingloriously and miserably. The guy shouts loudly that this will never happen, and he will make the girl pay for everything and take revenge on her for betrayal. Coming to consciousness, Yexiao is stunned by the reality of what is happening, and hears the girl asking with irritation in her voice if he has really gone deaf and can't hear anything at all. Luruyan asks the guy if she really needs these pennies, accepting his money. She was just saving his face and pride. The young man realizes with horror that this is Reincarnation. He remembers this moment. Everything happens for the second time, a week before the Apocalypse game began. The girl doesn't pay attention to him, and continues to ask if the guy knows how much she suffered from accepting money from him. The guy puts his bank card in his pocket, which contains 200,000, which he was supposed to spend on the girl soon. Luruyan gives the young man a contemptuous and arrogant look, and asks if he already regrets it. To her surprise, Yexiao casually pushes her hand aside and asks if, for his own good, he should go to hell. Luruyan is clearly shocked by what is happening. She did not expect such a turn of events from the usually submissive guy. The guy replies that it must have been difficult for her, after which he declares that he will not give her anything else. Luruyan asks him to stop his jokes, and since the guy came here today, she will reluctantly, but still take his bank card. Yexiao's expression darkens, and he tells the girl to get out immediately and right now. Luruyan is extremely outraged. She asks how dare he talk to her like that, and threatens that the guy will regret it. Suddenly Yexiao stops. He remembers that the shoes the girl is wearing were also bought by him with his own hard-earned money. With a casual movement, the young man grabs Luruyan by the foot and takes off her shoes, without ceremony and ignoring her protests. With a sharp movement, the guy throws the girl's shoes into the trash can. She indignantly screams that because of his pennies, he will not become a big man, and because of money, she will not lie down under him. Luruyan orders her to remember what he did today. And even if the guy later gets on his knees and begs her to come back, the girl will never acknowledge him again. Yahello thinks that it's even better this way. He doesn't want the girl to catch his eye, because he has more important things than wasting his time on her. The Apocalypse system is beginning testing. There will be a short cooldown during the first 10 minutes of the beta test, and then the system will be activated for all users. Thinking about the need to save up enough money before the full test begins, the guy dials the number. The girl asks Yahello in surprise if something urgent has happened. The guy reminds her that she always wanted his shares and asks if she will take 20 million at once, which surprises her and makes her ask again about the amount. Yahello replies that everything is correct, but she must collect all the shares and complete the paperwork within 5 days, and transfer the money to his account. She says there's no problem with that, and thinks that the guy has finally decided to hand over the corporation to her. Half the job is done, and now Yahello needs to wait for the release of the beta version of Apocalypse. The guy decides that this time he will reach the top alone. A week passes. The system congratulates Yahello on gaining access to the beta version. The test will last 3 days, and after that the public version will be launched. After selecting the desired menu and clicking on confirmation, the young man finds himself in the location, and finds himself thinking that this feeling is familiar to him. He is given the nickname Night Hunter, which the young man is incredibly happy about. In his past life, the guild was once destroyed by a gold-level beast tamer who possessed incredible strength and power. This powerful player could control the dark dragon of the void, bringing terror to all opponents and destroying entire armies of enemies. This time, Yahello has no shortage of time and resources, so he chooses a beast tamer character. There remains a very important point. You need to top up your account sufficiently in order to get maximum benefits from the very beginning of the game. The replenishment occurs instantly. The system congratulates the young man, and 20 billion gold coins are credited to his balance. The guy thinks it's incredible. In 3 days, the value of these coins will increase tenfold, giving him a huge advantage over the others. The system congratulates Yahello on being the first player to deposit such a large amount, and a unique secret skill has been unlocked for him, after which synchronization occurs, and the guy receives a second skill called Wealth, which opens up new, unprecedented opportunities for him. After some time, the guy finds out that he has received a secret class, the God of Wealth, which can only be unlocked by investing a lot of money into the system. A huge number of information screens appear around Yahello, which very quickly begin to blur into space, creating a fantastic spectacle. A voice is heard saying that he didn't expect such a little rascal to unlock it. Yahello looks at the strange creature in surprise, and wonders where this strange toad with a pipe and an arrogant look jumped out from. Anger flares in the creature's eyes, and in a loud voice it calls the guy an insolent person who dared to doubt its greatness and status. The creature says his name is Ebisu, he is a wealth mentor, and the guy is the 709th god of wealth under his strict guidance. Yahello is skeptical about the toad acting as a mentor, and asks if the creature doesn't find it a bit funny and ridiculous. Ebisu listens silently to the guy, puffing on his huge pipe, and is clearly nervous, holding back his growing irritation at the newcomer's insolence. After which the toad calls the guy a scoundrel. She says that now she will show him what true wealth means, and loudly snaps her fingers. Instantly, the guy gains a huge number of talents. He will be able to multiply his gold, not lose his coins after the character's death, and also have tremendous luck. Yahello is amazed by the huge number of hidden classes, and none of them seem unnecessary or useless to him. The toad says that any of these talents can increase the guy's fortune, and coins will flow to the guy like a huge river. In his past life, the guy spent his money on a girl, but with this wealth class, he will be incredibly cool and show the whole world the true power of money. The system offers to complete a mission in the newcomer's village, to which the guy immediately agrees. The next second, Yahello is transported to a new location called Flower Fields. The guy looks around. It seems like the server has just opened, because there aren't many people here, and this is the perfect moment to level up. Starting as a beast tamer is 10 times more difficult, as powerful creatures cannot be tamed in the early stages. To progress faster, the guy needs to develop a strategy. Toad declares that choosing a beast tamer was reckless, since they don't even have weapons at the start, and at that moment a loud crowd of creatures begins to approach them. The terrifying goblins with clubs scream, smelling the scent of human flesh, and prepare to attack the defenseless newcomer. Yahello sarcastically says that he is lucky, because these are the same 5th elite level goblin warriors. The guy is thinking about whether to fight or run. Ebisu immediately runs away and says what else is there to think about, because the guy is practically naked, and going against the elite is suicide. Yahello turns and runs away. The goblins yell at him to stay still. The food mustn't escape. Ebisu continues to tease the guy and asks what he was even thinking, choosing such a difficult class without preparation and equipment. After some time, they reach the main city. Yahello is very upset, as he has never experienced such humiliation, and almost died at the very beginning of the mission. Other players notice him, and are surprised that someone chose a beast tamer, considering this class useless and weak at the start of the game. After which they notice a toad sitting on the guy's shoulder and start laughing loudly, saying that the guy and the toad are one family, made for each other. Ebisu tries to cheer up Yahello by telling him that there are animal eggs on sale in this town, and suggests that he go and buy one for himself. The guy replies that he is not going to settle for simple animals, to which Ebisu asks what he wants then. Yahello tells of a secret dungeon where a god-level egg is kept in a dragon's lair, capable of changing everything. After some time, they arrive at the majestic Supreme Hall, where they can gain access to secret locations and high-level dungeons. The toad asks the guy if he's crazy for coming here at level 1. Only players over level 100 can hire guards for this dangerous location. Yahello orders Ebisu to be quiet and states that he knows what he is doing, having a clear plan of action from his past life and experience. On the stairs, they are stopped by an old man, who tells the young man that this place is not for him and asks him to return after he becomes stronger. To get inside, you need a letter of recommendation from the Lord. This place is quite majestic, and even the guard here is an 80th level archmage. The young man replies that he does not have a letter of recommendation, to which the archmage asks him to leave this place, the Supreme Hall. This is the pride of the Empire, and it is not for the likes of Yahello. The guy claims that he heard that the archmage recently lost something, to which the old man replies that he should not try to deceive him with empty words. Yahello points his finger to the side and asks the elder to look there, drawing his attention to something important on the floor nearby. The archmage glances down at his feet and notices gold coins next to them, glittering and enticing with their rich glow. The old man starts collecting coins, and Yahello asks him to turn around because there are even more coins there. Greed flashes in the guard's eyes, and the boy quietly says that the man likes it, realizing that the plan worked perfectly. The guard instantly becomes kinder. He tells the guy that the room for honored guests is in the pavilion of the God of War upstairs, and asks him to come in. The boy tells the archmage that he liked his fierce demeanor, which so quickly changed to hospitality and courtesy. The old man sees the young man off and casts suspicious glances at him, while the guy thinks about how money works wonders. Yahello ascends to the top floor and slowly walks along the velvet carpet leading to the very heart of the majestic pavilion. On the way, he is met by armed knights of level 100, standing like an impenetrable wall in front of the entrance to the main hall. Toad tells the boy that the Supreme Hall lives up to its name, and with the 100th guardian he will conquer the village of newcomers. A huge warrior approaches Yahello and menacingly asks who allowed him to enter these sacred chambers without the right of access. The young man tells the berserker that he needs to hire a divine-level guardian golem to carry out an important and dangerous mission. Such knights are very rare, and besides, looking at the guy's stats, hiring a level 80 guard would be very difficult for him. The knight starts to say that this is not something the guy can afford, but Yahello cuts him off and says that he will pay 1 million a day. Upon hearing this information, the knight freezes, and a waiting icon appears above his head, indicating that the system is processing an unexpected request. The warrior stops hovering and replies that it is technically possible after all. The rules are made by people, and he knows a spellcaster who can help. Divine-level spellcasters are incredibly versatile, defense, attack, all in one. The knight believes this is an excellent solution for such a generous client. He can summon the caster at any time, but first he needs to confirm that the guy will pay 1 million. Yahello agrees to sign the contract without hesitation. The contract is signed, and a girl appears on a brightly glowing pentagram, who asks in surprise who this brat is who hired her to serve. The girl's name is Dolores. She is a divine-level spellcaster, and according to the contract, she will carry out Yahello's orders for the next 24 hours. She casually takes the young man by the face and tells him to tell her what he needs, and she will sort it out for him. Yahello replies that he hired her to solve a difficult task. The girl laughs loudly and says what difficult tasks can be in the newcomer village. The guy suggests not to waste time, The girl asks to take her to the place where the work needs to be done for 1,000,000 gold coins. Dolores raises her magical staff and a giant fireball instantly forms above her, pulsing with destructive energy and power. With each passing second it grows larger and larger and rushes at great speed into the valley where hostile creatures have gathered. A moment later, he crashes into a squad of high-level goblins, dealing massive damage to their life. Xiao is delighted with the damage indicator, as the number has become as long as a phone number. The toad jumps furiously on the goblin corpses and demands that they all be destroyed, because they attacked her and deserve cruel punishment. Other players notice this. They are puzzled by how this guy teamed up with the caster, and are amazed by the damage numbers, which are simply incredible for a newbie. They start arguing about whether it was a system bug or not, and agree that it must be a high-level mercenary hired by the NPC. Ebisu studies the stats and tells the guy that he reached level 10 very quickly, overtaking most other players on the server. All players receive a mass notification that a player with the nickname Night Hunter has successfully reached level 10, entering the leaderboard. The players doubt the honesty, but the guy is confident that soon, when the apocalypse becomes a reality, they will find out what a true god is. Xiao has earned enough points and believes it is time to move on to the real goal for which he started this game again. Toad asks the guy if this is the secret dungeon he was talking about. Xiao replies that it is, and they go to the dragon's lair. The player leaps high into the air and delivers a powerful slashing blow, demonstrating refined fighting technique and impeccable mastery of skills. With just one move, the young man destroys 3 goblins, gaining experience and collecting trophies from the fallen enemies. The guy is very upset, because he has been hunting elite monsters since the beginning of the game, and he still has the 3rd level of character development. In the message, he sees the name Xiao, a newcomer who has reached level 10 in a matter of hours, causing envy and bewilderment among the other participants. The action moves to a location called Whispering Valley, with coordinates 1102. Xiao touches a huge magical stone, which instantly flashes with a bright glow, activating an ancient mechanism to open a secret passage into the dungeon. The stone splits, and with a roar, a gigantic structure rapidly emerges from the depths. A few seconds later, a huge entrance appears next to him, and a system message arrives that the guy has entered the closed area of the dragon's lair. The girl is very surprised because there really is a secret dungeon here. She asks Xiao how he found it among many locations. The young people slowly enter the cave. Dolores admits to the guy that if there is a dragon here, she is not sure that she can cope with it alone. Long ago, a level 100 berserker accidentally triggered a hidden quest, and discovered that the entrance to the lair was hidden in the newbie village. Dolores asks the guy how he found out about this secret, to which Xiao replies that he bought the recordings of his battle for a large sum of money. He saw that there was a valuable dragon egg in this lair. The girl was surprised that the guy wanted to steal it, because it was more difficult than killing the dragon itself. Xiao begins to praise the girl in every possible way. He tells her that she is a great divine-level spellcaster, and will be able to destroy the monster in just a matter of seconds. In front of them is a shining 5th-level dragon. Dolores indignantly asks if the guy is really mocking her by offering such a crazy task. The guy supports the girl in every possible way and asks her not to be so modest, assuring her that she can cope with any opponent thanks to her skills. Dolores continues to look at the dragon in surprise, while the toad prays to the gods that she took the teleport scroll with her for an emergency retreat. This dragon can destroy an entire guild single-handedly, and it is one of the strongest monsters. Dolores states that the chances of winning are less than 1%. The girl refuses to go further. The guy offers double the price, but she continues to refuse. It's not that she doesn't want more money, it's just that they can't handle it. Xiao states that they will not fight the dragon. He simply asks to buy him some time to carry out his plan. Dolores states that there will be no attempts. No one can hold out in a battle against a level 5 shining dragon, at which point the guy offers 3,000,000 gold coins. This changes the situation. The girl declares that even if she has to risk her life, she will do it for this amount of money and complete the task. Her battle staff flares with a bright glow, illuminating the dungeon and filling the space with magical energy. The girl loudly declares that she will do everything possible. The countdown has begun. There are only 3 minutes left to complete the task. Xiao receives numerous system notifications. He receives the blessing of the god of life. The attributes of strength and dexterity are doubled thanks to the magic of the caster. Dolores charges in and tells the guy that he has 3 minutes of buff duration left, and the rest is up to him. She curses the monster. Before, she would have been afraid of it, but for the sake of 3,000,000 gold, she forces herself to suppress her fear and doubts. Dolores uses a skill called Ice Arrow. instantly hitting the huge dragon with giant ice blocks, slowing its movements and attacks. While the girl distracts the dragon, Yexiao tiptoes quietly to the divine egg lying in the depths of the lair. He understands that they must not be noticed, otherwise it will be the end for them. The dragon will destroy them. The giant dragon continues its furious attack. A huge flame bursts from its mouth. Dolores warns the guy that she is already running out of strength. Yexiao tries to lift the egg. He didn't think it was so heavy, and orders the toad to help him cope with the unbearable burden. Ebisu states that he has never done anything like this before, and begins to move towards the egg, but clumsily hits the metal armor, which falls to the ground with a crash. Yexiao freezes in place and realizes with horror that the dragon has noticed this ringing metallic noise. The giant monster instantly turns towards the guy and lets out a terrible, piercing scream full of rage. Yexiao curses the clumsy and useless toad and rushes towards the exit with all his might, realizing that he can't delay even a second longer. The giant dragon screams loudly and instantly gives chase, shaking the earth with its heavy steps and destroying everything in its path. Running past Dolores, the guy asks her for help. The girl instantly erects a protective ice wall, blocking the passage of the monster in the corridor of the dungeon. Even though the ice wall is a strong, high-level structure, the dragon begins to punch holes in it. The girl holds him back with all her might, but she understands that the wall will not withstand the onslaught of an enraged 5th-level shining dragon for long. At this time, the dragon deals another powerful blow, activating an ability called the Breath of the Dragon King, concentrating destructive energy. Dolores is horrified to realize that she is unable to cope with such a powerful opponent, and believes that she must flee. The girl joins the guy. Yexiao asks her sister why she is running away, to which Dolores replies that she is also vulnerable to the dragon. A powerful explosion occurs behind the young people, and a giant wave of fire throws them out of the dungeon. The guy calms down. Death was very close, but they were able to get out of the lair alive and with the loot. Dolores examines the egg, believing that if a 5th-level dragon hatches from it, their efforts will be completely worth it. She gives the young man an appraising look and asks him not to forget about the payment. Yexiao asks not to worry. Now is the time to make a contract with the beast. He hopes that something unusual will hatch from the egg. Otherwise, a huge amount of money will be wasted. The toad begins to worry about the outcome, but the guy abruptly shuts her up, ordering her to shut her mouth and not interfere with the important process of the beast's hatching. He touches the egg, which immediately begins to crack. Now everything depends on this moment, Yexiao asks, not to disappoint his expectations and hopes. The giant egg's shell continues to crack rapidly, and a moment later it explodes into tiny pieces, enveloping everything around in thick smoke. The smoke from the explosion clears, and Yexiao sees a cute little dragon looking at him with big, curious eyes. Dolores looks closely at the beast and says that it does not look like a baby radiant dragon, and does not glow with the characteristic golden glow at all. The guy starts to worry and suggests that perhaps the divine egg was replaced with another, less valuable one. There are numerous reports of the dragon's characteristics. It is a mythical creature called the Azure Sky Dragon. The guy studies the stats and realizes they're terribly unbalanced. But with a strength of 500 at level 1, his breath is capable of dealing over 2,000 damage. Dolores says the boy has struck gold. This kid's statistics are simply incredible. Plus, he has limitless potential for growth and development of abilities. Toad happily announces that with this baby, no one will ever think she's the guy's pet again. Now he has a real legendary beast. Yexiao notices the strange objects in the toad's hands and carefully examines this icon, trying to figure out what kind of artifact it is and where it came from. He asks where she got the badge from, to which Ebisu demands it be returned immediately, and says that he picked it up in the dragon's lair. This is a sign of rage on a catastrophe level. It activates the power and deals 1,000% damage, turning the owner into a killing machine. Toad demands that the badge be given to her immediately. She says that she risked her life for it. Yexiao replies that because of her they almost died, and is going to take the badge as compensation. Ebisu demands 10,000 coins a day for this. Yexiao asks her to calm down and asks why she is greedy. He thinks that they are comrades, and what kind of money can we talk about? Ebisu looks offended. She says that when a guy wants something from her, he calls her by name, and when he doesn't, he's just a toad. At this moment, a message comes about a hidden quest. Despite his power, the King of Fury was swallowed by the abyss, and the bearer of the Mark of Fury must find the Fang of the Beast. The girl explains that the Fang is a divine-level assassin's dagger, forged from the fangs of an abyssal beast, possessing incredible destructive power. It is known as one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It sounds great, but the journey to the Abyss continent will take a long time. At this point, The guy receives a message that he has exceeded the daily playtime limit and will be forcibly logged out in 3 minutes. Dolores activates the teleporter. Who would have thought that the hidden dungeon in the village would take so long? She says goodbye to the guy and offers to contact her and not to forget the coins. The Doomsday game is still in beta mode and hasn't been fully integrated with reality yet. Xiao is going to take a rest. He doesn't want his whole body to hurt later. The next day, news comes out that the game has conquered the community and topped the chats. Many people's fingers are already sore, although they haven't even reached the 2nd level. On launch day, the apocalypse resulted in mass player deaths, with many experiencing real-life symptoms after exiting the game, leading to mass hospitalizations worldwide. Later, cases of organ failure emerged among survivors, and many governments banned the game and prohibited access to it. Xiao calls them weaklings. When the game integrates with reality, they will all suffer from this decision. He is distracted by the sound of the phone with an incoming message. Luruyan wrote a message. She wants the guy to come to the hospital and pay the bills. If he does this, then she will pretend that nothing happened between them. The guy has completely forgotten about this crazy girl and is thinking that he should have blocked her a long time ago and not wasted time on her. Luruyan's new boyfriend wonders why Xiao should come to them if the girl hasn't contacted him for a long time and broke off all relations. Luruyan declares that the guy will not dare to refuse. Her new boyfriend believes that he truly loves the girl to the core and will do anything. At this point, a doctor enters the room, informs the patient that he can now be discharged, and asks him to pay the bill for his treatment and stay. Luruyan is outraged by the rush. The doctor says the hospital is overcrowded with patients whose organs are failing due to the game, and there are currently limited beds. The guy asks the girl not to argue. This game is really hard. He plans to check out and continue playing, and asks Luruyan if she has money to pay the bill. Luruyan states that she has no money. The guy is very indignant because he knows that Xiao gives the girl 200,000 every month for personal expenses. He asks her to message Xiao again and ask for some money. The guy plans to open a studio to create games, and such an amount means nothing to Xiao. Luruyan asks not to worry. As soon as Xiao comes here, she will say a few sweet words to him, and he will obediently give all the money. Meanwhile, Xiao is at home. Despite the late hour, he continues to sleep, gaining strength before the new game day and challenges. The guy is woken up by a loud alarm clock. He gets up with difficulty and understands that it's time to enter the game. After a few seconds, he activates the menu and appears in a location called the Newbie Village. The guy loudly says a mangled proverb. The early bird catches the worm. The toad calls the guy a scoundrel. She hasn't even fully woken up yet, and he's already called her on missions. Loud voices can be heard in the square. Someone is looking for 3 players with healer skills to complete the first level of the training area. Players immediately notice Xiao. They are very surprised that there is a level 10 player among them, and wonder how the guy could level up so quickly and take first place in the rankings. They call the young man an idiot. Even if he changed his costume and hid his face, he cannot hide his level that hangs above the character's head. Xiao is trying to escape from annoying players, because everyone wants to know where they can level up so quickly and achieve such incredible results in a short time. A few minutes later, the guy hides in a strange ravine, which is a level 10 testing zone, inaccessible to weak players without proper preparation. The players stop because they will simply be destroyed there, and it will be too risky if they follow the guy into such a dangerous location. Toad is glad that they managed to escape their pursuers. Xiao notes that they are not stupid, which is why they did not chase them here. After some time, they reach a huge stone fortress towering over the surrounding area. The guy watches the knight guarding the entrance and realizes that this is the very place he was heading to according to his plan. The guard calls the young man a baby and says that this place is not for him. Only strong and experienced warriors can pass the tests here. Xiao greets the giant knight and informs him that he is here to begin the trials to advance through levels and classes. The knight sees that the guy is level 10 and asks where his team is. Xiao replies that he plays alone and does not need any team to pass. Going alone, even on normal difficulty, is the same as committing suicide. But the guy asks not to worry. He still has his whole life ahead of him. A few minutes later, Xiao approaches an inconspicuous stone structure and stands on a huge magic circle, activating the trial selection system. A choice of difficulty levels appears under the names Nightmare, Hell, and Abyss. The guy thinks whether he can pass the most difficult level. The system informs you that the progression test has begun, and the chosen level, the Abyss, is the most dangerous of all possible levels. The knight is very surprised, because the guy was going to go through this level alone. He thinks that this must be a joke or madness. Toad yells loudly that the guy is only at level 10 and went into the Abyss alone. Xiao asks if she really thinks he can't handle it. Last time he had bronze equipment and an elite team, but they almost died because he had to drag Luruyan along with him. The guy loudly declares that this time he came here for revenge and will prove his strength to everyone without outside help. He summons his beast, and a small green baby dragon instantly materializes in the air. After this, Yexiao commands the creature to move forward, feeling confidence in every step. With this little green guy, they're in no danger here, as he's a mythical rank. Suddenly the boy realizes that someone is watching him from the bushes. He orders the dragon to be on guard and prepare for a surprise attack. Suddenly a wild mutant snow wolf, level 10, with 5,000 health units, jumps out of the bushes. Many of its characteristics are unknown, but it is a mutated creature from the abyss, and as soon as the player appears in its field of vision, death itself begins to hunt him. Toad is surprised that they ran into a mutant snow wolf right off the bat, as even a shadow-level assassin would be horrified by this. The guy orders an attack, and the little green dragon instantly flies up to the huge monster. The dragon activates the King's Breath skill. A dense stream of fire erupts from its mouth, falling upon the enemy with incinerating force. A giant flame throws the wolf far to the side and takes away 2,500 units of health from him with one powerful blow. After which the baby continues the attack. He strikes with his paws, each of which deals damage of 500 units of health. However, the huge wolf does not give up and tries to grab the little dragon, which nimbly circles around him and dodges his giant paws. Yexiao watches the fight closely and realizes that the snow wolf has become completely enraged from its unsuccessful attempts to reach the fast opponent. Meanwhile, the green baby activates a skill called Dragon Roar. A powerful sonic vibration causes the giant predator to become deaf and disoriented, giving the dragon an advantage in battle. The kid takes advantage of this and releases a stream of fire at the wolf, taking away another 500 units of health. Again and again he releases streams of fire, taking away the wolf's health points, methodically destroying its defenses and vitality. After another attack, the giant enemy falls to the ground with a crash, and congratulations come that they have defeated the wild snow wolf mutant. The following notifications inform you that the little green one has risen to level 2, having received a huge amount of experience. The messages keep coming, and to the boy's delight, the little green dragon immediately soars to level 4 in one battle. In addition to experience points and leveling up, the guy receives a snow wolf bow and a mutant beast fang, which fell from the body of a slain monster. The guy thinks the weapons are great. These are dark gold items, although it's not surprising, because mutated bosses always drop insane loot. Suddenly the young man and the toad freeze as they hear strange sounds and feel the presence of something huge next to them. The next enemy appears. This abyssal tiger is possessed by a demon and possesses incredible strength and cruelty towards enemies. The young man immediately commands the little dragon to attack, not giving the enemy the opportunity to strike first and seize the initiative. The tiger is greatly irritated by the flying creature and immediately rushes at it, trying to knock the dragon to the ground with a powerful leap. Half an hour passes, and a tired Yexiao falls to the ground. He can't feel his legs at all, and thinks that he wouldn't have come here alone if he knew it would be so tiring. The toad boasts that she has collected a lot of equipment and will sell it upon arrival in the city. The guy says that they are not returning yet. They are moving on to fight the boss. Ebisu warns that the dragon is only level 7. Yexiao believes that everything will work out. In his past life, the final boss of the abyss was only a lord level. The guy activates the portal and thinks that the little green guy easily dealt with 2 demonic monsters, and with their help, killing the lord will be easier than chopping vegetables. Yexiao extends his hand towards the stone stele, and a huge magical seal instantly begins to glow beneath his feet, opening the passage to the final room. The entrance to the dungeon is open. The guy says that now he will show the little dragon what it means to be a real pro in this game. A message appears informing the traveler that they have entered the abyss difficulty level, where the most dangerous opponents and deadly challenges await them. The system advises to immediately leave the extremely dangerous territory. The guy thinks that in a past life he was a man of honor who fell into the clutches of emotions. But in this life he is a messenger of the abyss, carrying the enormous power of the apocalypse, and his name is Yexiao. The guy demands that the enemy come out and let him taste the full power of the abyss. The young man and the toad notice the huge monster and slowly approach its throne, carefully studying the enemy before the battle begins. The Abyss Wanderer is a level 10 creature. Its health level is unknown, and its spiritual fortitude is 5,000 units of magical defense. Toad sarcastically asks where their easy boss is. The guy doesn't understand what's going on. In his past life the boss was a lord, but now he's a king. 5,000 spirit points. This is a purely magical class, with 0 strength and dexterity. It cannot be damaged by normal physical weapon attacks. The enemy's speed is very slow, but if his blow reaches the target, the player will definitely die from the destructive magical power of one touch. The guy tells the dragon that the king-level boss is no joke. He strongly asks not to use his abilities thoughtlessly and strictly follow his commands. He adds that this boss is very slow. The dragon needs to change its positions and not engage in a long fight. The little green dragon nods his head in agreement and begins to growl amusingly, demonstrating his readiness to carry out his master's orders. He flies up to the boss and unleashes a powerful stream of fire at him, trying to keep a safe distance from the monster's slow attacks. Very slowly, the Abyss Wanderer turns to face the little dragon, perceiving him as an annoying fly disturbing his ancient peace in the dungeon. The fire doesn't do much damage to the enemy, but the guy praises the dragon and asks him to continue attacking without stopping for a second. Yahello suggests wearing down the brute and not letting him use any skills that can kill them instantly with one hit. The Abyss Walker turns his giant head towards the boy, casting a furious look full of hatred towards the living creatures that have invaded his domain. Yahello steps back and wonders why his opponent isn't moving. He just looks at them. Yahello starts to think that something is going wrong and the boss is preparing some kind of deadly attack. The toad's voice is heard, saying that the Wanderer is about to use some kind of powerful attack that can kill them instantly with one blow. The toad strongly recommends that the young man try to escape while there is still a chance to save himself from certain death under the destructive magic. The Abyss Walker raises his enormous staff. Instantly it flares with lightning bolts, and a magical sign appears in the air. In an instant, the huge monster begins to be enveloped in a bright, dazzling aura, accumulating destructive power for a deadly high-level spell. There is a powerful, deafening explosion that throws the guy far to the side. Yahello dodges the deadly energy beams and thinks why the Wanderer is only aiming at him. He calls for the help of the dragon to save him. Deadly beams continue to fly out of the skull at the top of the staff, and it becomes increasingly difficult for the guy to dodge them. He understands that unless he finds a way to stop the attack, he won't last long under such a relentless magical barrage. The little green one rushes to the rescue and spews a dense stream of fire from its mouth, trying to distract the boss's attention from its owner. However, he does not cause much damage to the enemy. His loud, eerie laughter, full of contempt for weak enemies, echoes through the vaults of the underground temple. The little dragon continues its attacks, and to the guy's surprise, the giant Abyss Guardian falls to the floor, struck down by accumulated fire damage. The toad's voice is heard, saying that the next time the guy decides to come to such a dangerous place, it would be better if he left her at the entrance. Congratulations arrive that the player has passed the test of the Abyss. Now his little green beast has reached level 10, becoming even stronger and more dangerous. Yahello didn't expect Ebisu to be such a coward. The toad responds with barbs and states that if the guy isn't afraid to die, then why did he run so fast in the previous mission? Finally finishing the level, Yahello suggests to look at what items they received as a reward for completing the Abyss trial. All players receive a mass message informing them that a player known as Night Hunter has completed the Abyssal trial, becoming the first player in history to do so in such a short time. More and more players gather around the information board, and now Yahello tops the world rankings and earns the title of Messenger of the Abyss. The guy tells the girl that this player has been leading for a long time, and this person is unusual. He asks the girl to look for information on him and find out his identity. The girl replies that based on the analysis, this guy is most likely from the city of Jian. The guy orders his subordinate to send someone to this city to investigate. The players continue to animatedly discuss the news. Someone reached level 10 on the second day, and he is exactly like them, from the village of newbies. The young man believes that if they can contact this player and engage with him, they will definitely become famous in the gaming community and receive benefits. The girl wonders if the guy really thinks that a trivial game will help him reach the pinnacle of life and become someone significant in the real world. She demands that he stop talking about Yahello, since they rarely spend time together. Especially since she has never played this game, it would be better for him to teach her how to play it. Yahello says in a quiet voice, "It can't be. After all their efforts, they only got this incomprehensible, lonely fragment of unknown purpose." A message comes in that he has an abyssal stone in his hands. It is a single fragment. Its class is unknown, and is not identified by the game system. Having never seen such things in his past life, the boy believes that he will find a way to find out its value later when he studies the information better. The knight guarding the entrance is very surprised. He thinks it is absolutely impossible. Someone actually managed to pass the test alone, and it was an abyss-level difficulty. Yahello thinks that it's enough to waste time. He will go to the central city now. and he needs to leave the newcomer village as soon as possible. The knight is surprised by the guy's impudence. Out of surprise, he says that he didn't mean to pester him, and activates a teleport to move the hero. The knight congratulates the esteemed warrior on successfully passing the test, and presents him with a token that allows him free access to the Empire's central city. Additionally, for completing the Abyss Level Up challenge, Yexiao receives an epic item, the Mark of Valor, which provides enormous benefits. This high-level sign gives a plus to all attributes, increasing them, which is quite good for a level 10 beast tamer. Smiling, Yexiao approaches the teleporter and tells the green baby that they need to move on to new challenges and adventures. The action takes place in a beautiful and huge central city, striking in its architecture and the scale of its buildings. The guy is surprised at how quiet it is here. In his past life, the area for changing professions was filled with more than 100 people. They need to find a beast catcher. The toad asks why they need him. Because the guy is a beast tamer himself and can do everything on his own without outside help. The guy replies that the toad will soon find out everything itself, and they begin to move slowly along the quiet, narrow streets. After some time, he finds the right place. The guy notices a man sitting in thought and says that here he is, the very same animal catcher. Yexiao greets and asks the respected mentor to change his profession. The man waves him off, asking him not to bother him and to find someone else for this job. The guy wants to transfer to the closed class of Beast Whisperer, and no one else can handle it. The man says that first he must show his strength. He demands that Yexiao go to the outskirts of the city and bring him 100 eyes of demonic wolf puppies as proof of his skills. The guy replies that he is not going to waste his time on this. The man calls him a useless idiot. If he can't even cope with this, then he should disappear. Yexiao replies that the man misunderstood him, that he doesn't think he needs to kill any demonic wolves, and shows him the epic valor badge. This changes things completely. The man cannot believe that someone so young has already gone through the trials at the level of the Abyss. The guy asks the man if he knows how many people were on the team, after which he himself answers that he was alone. The man begins to praise the guy. He states that from the first moment he saw him, he immediately realized that he possessed an unusual talent and was a true dragon. The guy asks what moment the man is talking about. It seems like just recently he was saying that Yexiao is a useless idiot, unworthy of attention and education. The man changes his mind faster than the pages of a book can be turned. He has a small request. He would like to see which beast was able to pass the test of the Abyss. The boy states that there is no problem with this, and shows the man a divine-level beast, summoning a green baby. The man admits that he has never seen a divine-level beast in real life in his life, and sadly reports that this is the beast of his dreams. After he tells Yexiao that he can't become a beast whisperer today, the guy asks what he means by that. The cultivator is not worthy of a divine-level beast. The man introduces Yexiao to the royal chief beast tamer, and hands him a letter of recommendation for an audience. He asks to go to the specified address, where the guy will find someone who will give him an answer to all his questions about changing his profession to the highest class. A new quest called Dragon's Whisper is launched, and a toad's voice is heard, saying that the guy is lucky, and can now move on to the hidden tamer class. Yexiao replies that the royal beast tamer is in another city, which is very far from here, and besides, he has other matters that he must take care of. Ebisu curiously asks what's going on. The guy offers to follow him. There's another hidden quest ahead, and soon everything will become clear. The toad's surprised voice is heard. She doesn't understand how the young man knows such a huge number of hidden quests, inaccessible to ordinary players. A stunning girl appears in the courtyard of a huge garden, surrounded by an officer's guard. The guy tells the toad that here she is, the widow of the late lord of this city, who has enormous influence and wealth in these lands. The toad notices that the girl is very rich and beautiful, and asks the guy if he really plans to sell himself for profit and money. Yexiao tries to approach the girl, but the officer abruptly stops him, orders him to stand still and asks who he is and what he wants. The guy greets the lady politely and asks her why she seems so sad. He asks if there is anything he can do to help her. The girl says that she is very sad because there is one thing that she has lost, and if the young man finds it, she will be deeply grateful. Toad is starting to get annoyed that the guy has received another unknown hidden quest. He needs to fulfill the lady's request and find her beautiful flower to calm the soul. Ebisu's indignant voice is heard. She asks if the flower the lady wants is not in the garden outside the city. Why are they wandering around the city without stopping? The guy replies that the girl needs an unusual flower that cannot be found in ordinary gardens or markets in this city and its surroundings. He notices a nondescript sign and tells the toad that they have come to the right place. But Ebisu is doubtful, as it is only a tool store. Entering inside, the young man greets the seller, who asks what the esteemed guest is interested in his modest establishment on the outskirts of the city. Xiao replies that the store sells chests of jewelry. The man smiles and replies that he is very knowledgeable. Many valuables can be found in his chests. He asks Xiao what his budget is, to which the guy replies that he will take the most expensive chest without bargaining or thinking about the price. The man brings out a small chest and says that it is the most valuable in the store and is worth 10,000 gold coins, which is an incredible amount for ordinary players. Coins start raining down on the counter. The guy says that this is not enough. He will take everything he has available. The seller asks in surprise if he really wants to buy everything. The guy asks if he can't hear him. He is going to take everything and orders each chest to be opened. The merchant opens the chest, and inside is a double-sided bronze rank battle axe, which offers decent stats for a mid-level warrior. The next chest contains a restorative healing potion that gives 100% health. The third box opens, containing the bread-enhancing bread, which gives a 500% increase to energy, allowing you to fight longer without rest or recuperation. Half an hour passes, and the seller tells the esteemed guest that out of the 100 chests he had, only one remains. Xiao throws aside the empty chest, a whole mountain of which rises behind him, and asks to open the last one without delay. The guy carefully lifts the lid of the chest and wonders what will be in it this time, hoping for something truly valuable. The room is illuminated by a bright glow. Inside there is a beautiful crystal flower of unknown use. Xiao carefully picks it up and thinks that it is truly a beautiful flower. The sound of splashing water can be heard as the lady enjoys a hot bath in her chambers. She asks her maid if she thinks someone can really find for her the flower she has been looking for so long. The maid standing nearby replies that this is of course so. With her charm and generous reward, there will definitely be someone who will fulfill the request. The maid leaves, but soon returns and says that a guy has arrived with the very flower she asked for and wants to see her alone. The girl jumps out of the bathroom in amazement. Someone actually found a flower for her in an incredibly short time. The officer points to Xiao and tells the lady that this young man has brought what she needs and is awaiting an audience at the entrance to the chambers. The girl asks the guy if he really found what she was looking for, to which Xiao silently hands her a small box. A bright glow illuminates the girl's joyful face. This is the very beautiful flower she's been looking for so long. The lady begins to say that the guy has been a great help to her and asks what reward he wants to receive, money or rare artifacts from her collection. Xiao replies that he is not interested in money or artifacts, and the girl has no choice but to offer herself as a reward. Xiao is shocked by this proposal and wonders if the girl is serious about proposing such a thing in broad daylight, as it is already too frank and bold. He stumbles over his words and says that the lady has misunderstood him. The guy notices how his hands are shaking. Excitement and fear take over, revealing his internal tension. A pink blush appeared on Xiao's face. He wanted to ask the lady to help him get the citizenship of this city, and not something else and indecent. A message arrives that, thanks to his noble deeds and outstanding charm, the guy receives 20 points of favor with Lady Shirelle. The lady calls the guy a little rascal and says it's easy, after which she asks the maid to prepare the papers and her seal. Xiao has another request. He would like to buy a house in this area and settle here for a long time. The girl answers that this is a good solution. Looking at the map, she understands the guy's desire to buy real estate, but the area in the west that he has chosen is not the most lively or promising for investment. The guy tells the lady that he is confident in his choice and hopes that she can help him contact the right people, for which he will be very grateful. Toad calls Xiao a scoundrel and asks why he doesn't buy a house in the prosperous eastern district and deliberately incurs losses, since you won't get rich that way. He answers the Toad that she knows nothing, that soon this area will be attacked by strange creatures, under the onslaught of which the Lord will die in battle, and most of the eastern region will be destroyed. The western district, being sparsely populated, will not attract as many monsters, and will suffer fewer losses. Later, it will become the city center and the most expensive place. The real estate deal is complete. The guy acquires 340 residential units and 184 commercial properties for a total of 1 billion gold coins. Xiao thinks he got it for next to nothing, at which point the lady hands him a citizenship certificate. Shirelle reports that this is not a city citizen's ID card, but a first-class citizen of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, the highest privilege in the state. Toad is in real shock. She says that this can't be. Even powerful lords have a hard time getting this citizenship, so the guy hit the jackpot. The guy asks if the girl is of royal descent. Shirelle smiles coquettishly in response, and asks if she couldn't be from a royal family. Yesiao praises Milady for exuding noble royal elegance and asks her if she knows the royal beast tamer. It turns out that this is her uncle. He should be in the capital of the empire. But he is a little eccentric and unpredictable. She will try to contact him. Yesiao kisses the girl's hand and calls her a beautiful lady. He really doesn't know how to thank her for such generous help and patronage. System messages appear. The toad irritably demands that the guy look at himself, and indignantly asks why he is flirting with her, behaving so lowly. Massive reports are coming in. Players are surprised that someone has received first-class citizenship, and in addition, the daily playtime limit for all players has been increased by 1 hour. Many are indignant and envious. They have been playing for a long time, and they are only in 3rd grade. One of the guys says that he is nobody in real life, and now he is nobody in the game. The girl reads the mass messages, and is surprised that the Night Hunter is already at level 11 and has become a first-class citizen. She considers this an amazing achievement. After which she throws the stick aside and thinks that if this player had brought them to the top, they would probably already be at the 4th or 5th level. The girl states that their level is currently at a low level, as they have been struggling to deal with one goblin for 2 hours now, without making any progress on the quests. This offends her teammates, who rudely ask her if she doesn't like their team, and accuse her of leveling up by just chilling while they do all the work. The situation escalates. The guy tries to calm everyone down. He says that it's a misunderstanding, and his girlfriend didn't mean anything offensive. After which he asks the girl to leave so as not to irritate the team members. The voices of the players are heard. They say that the girl is behaving like a princess and an arrogant person. The guy angrily tells the girl that she did something stupid, that now they are left alone, and how will they level up without the support of the group? In response, the girl blames the guy. He promised to help her level up, but did not stand up for her when other players insulted her. The guy starts apologizing and says that he was wrong, after which he asks if Luruyan contacted Yesiao so that he would play Apocalypse with them. The guy begs her. The girl agrees, but adds that she will write later, after she leaves the game. Although Yesiao's habit of throwing money around is a bit rude and vulgar, Luruyan can't blame him for it, and is going to give the young man another chance. Luruyan takes the initiative. The girl is going to write to him again, hoping for a positive response and an agreement to help with leveling up her character. She tells him that she plays a game called Apocalypse and invites him to register and buy equipment. If he helps her level up, she'll consider being his girlfriend again. 5 minutes pass. Luruyan begins to get nervous and worried. She does not understand why the guy does not answer her messages for so long and ignores the offer. Luruyan picks up the phone and starts swearing loudly. Yesiao turned on friend verification, and the girl is not on the list. The guy deleted her from his friends. Her loud scream echoes throughout the street. Luruyan declares that from today on, everything between them is over once and for all. A girl can be heard screaming, declaring that if he has even a drop of dignity, he should not beg for forgiveness. Because even if he gets on his knees, he will not get a second chance. The action moves to the eastern quarter of the city. It seems that Yesiao has found the place he was looking for. He goes inside. The man says that their store only evaluates equipment of silver rank and above, and if he has bronze equipment, it is better to look for another place to evaluate. The guy takes out a necklace and asks what about dark gold, whether they can properly evaluate it in this shop or whether they need to look for another specialist. The man takes the amulet in his hands in amazement. He cannot believe that it is actually dark gold, so rare in the game at this stage. After which he apologizes, and if it really is dark gold, the shop owner himself will take care of its appraisal. The man is a highly skilled gold rank appraiser with over 80% success rate, and dark gold appraisal is worth 100 gold coins per item. Yesiao claims that this is no problem and dumps a whole mountain of useful and valuable items collected in dungeons during the game in front of the appraiser. He takes out a magnifying glass and begins to thoroughly examine the 10th level pendant, which transfers more than 20% of the power of the base stats to the dark attributes. The man declares that these stats are simply incomparable. The guy asks not to be distracted and to continue the assessment, without wasting time on enthusiastic comments and praise. An hour passes, and Yesiao leaves the shop, studying the information screen. He is happy to find out that his stats have increased significantly. The toad sitting on his shoulder smokes a pipe and tells the guy that with his current strength he can fight alone. She asks what they will do next. Yesiao replies that there is no news from the lady yet, and suggests going to farm in the Valley of Grey Fog. Toad cautiously states that this place is the territory of level 20 monsters, and it will be extremely dangerous for them to be there with their current characteristics. A few minutes later, they encounter a pack of grey hyenas. Their level difference is too great for the guy to view detailed information. Yesiao instantly summons a green baby and orders it to attack. The dragon activates the king's breath, and a powerful stream of fire erupts from its mouth. The fire consumes the hyenas. They scream loudly and writhe in pain as they receive critical damage from the attack of the divine rank mythical beast. The monsters here attack the guy without a second thought. He can just stop and farm. Ebisu blames him. The toad calls him a little bastard who enjoys life. The little green one destroys the next pack of hyenas. If you remember what his past life was like, then the current one is actually good and full of opportunities for growth. 2 hours later, the system congratulates the guy on reaching level 12, significantly outpacing other players on the server in terms of character leveling speed. Yexiao looks at the huge number of hyenas he has destroyed, and thinks that at this rate, it will only take a few days to reach level 20. Suddenly, he notices a strange glowing object among the bodies of his enemies, and asks in bewilderment what kind of artifact it is. He takes the glowing scroll in his hands and learns that it is a fireball spell. Toad says that a beast tamer using a fireball would look stupid. The guy replies that new skills are never superfluous for survival. It summons a fireball that creates a sphere of mana and unleashes a beam of plasma on the enemy. A powerful discharge hits a huge hyena, but surprisingly it does not cause significant damage. The guy is stunned. His blow did minimal damage, although the spell should be powerful for a mid-level mage. Toad starts laughing sarcastically and says that his fireball is weaker than the green baby's fart and is completely useless in a real fight. Yexiao looks at the time. 2 hours have passed. It's already late. It's time for him to exit the game and return to the real world. It's been 3 days since the Apocalypse game was launched, which means beta testing will begin for all residents. All inhabitants of the Empire, age 16 and above, will be immersed in this dangerous game, and this world will face enormous changes and catastrophic events. A powerful bolt of lightning rips through the dark cloudy sky and strikes the spire of an old church with a roar. Passers-by are very surprised. Is it really an earthquake? Messages about the game launch begin to arrive. People find themselves in an unknown location, they think. What nonsense. Is this really a prank? Many were taking a bath, and someone was having dinner, and now they find themselves in a game. Leruyan wonders in surprise what is happening, and why she was automatically logged into the game without her consent, and without any warning from the system about this event. Most people come to the conclusion that they have just been forced into the game. The guy asks if the girl has contacted Yexiao. Leruyan starts swearing loudly and declares that even if he begged her, she would never talk to him again. The guy says he wants to contact the Night Hunter player and asks Leruyan's opinion. She replies that she doesn't know him personally, but she heard about his records and leadership in the beta test. After which the girl declares that with her extraordinary beauty no man can resist her, and the Night Hunter will definitely agree to help her level up. All people in the Empire over the age of 16, regardless of gender or age, were forcibly immersed in the Apocalypse game. The ability to leave the game has been removed, and players can no longer leave the game on their own through normal means. If a player dies in the game, he will not be able to return to the real world. His consciousness will perish along with the character. A player's spawn is determined by their real-life location. The closer players are in real life, the closer their starting villages will be in the Apocalypse game world. The action moves to the village of newcomers number 1. The young people still have not found a way to exit the game and think that they may be stuck here forever. The guy states that the situation is escalating. He asks where the player with the nickname Night Hunter is now. Is there any news about his whereabouts? The comrade replies that not yet. It is known that he is already at level 12 and has left the village of newbies, but no one else has been able to do this yet. Russian asks what about their favorite. The comrade answers that he is only at level 4. The man is indignant, because the guy is a beta tester and should be higher. It's hard to believe that there's someone like Night Hunter in Jean City. He's clearly an unusual character, and the man wants to find him at any cost. Yexiao receives a new message. He needs to come to the Duke's estate. He has the information he was looking for about the royal beast tamer. Toad finds this exciting. She didn't expect that information about the royal beast tamer would be found so quickly thanks to Lady Shirel's connections. A young man enters a huge palace, where a girl in an exquisite dress meets him at the entrance. She smiles playfully at the guy, admitting that she had missed him and had been looking forward to his visit for the past few days. Yexiao finds the lady attractive and thinks that no one can resist her. She is so charming and majestic at the same time. The guy declares that Shirel is simply charming, and asks if she has any news about the royal beast tamer and his whereabouts. Shirel asks him not to rush. Her uncle went traveling and has not yet returned to the capital. The guy understands that the alarm was false and premature. After which she tells that Yexiao must unlock a hidden class. As his uncle asked for it, this class is not that difficult, and is located in Fen City. The guy thought he would have to go to the other end of the world, but it turned out that the treasure was hidden under his nose. very close to his current location. However, the girl says that this may be quite difficult, because according to her uncle, a powerful high-level dragon lives in the mountains outside the city. Sharel asks the guy if he knows about this dungeon. Yesiao replies that he has heard about it somewhere, because in his past life he farmed in this area many times. The guy decides to check everything out himself, and the girl anxiously asks if he's really going to go alone, since this is high-level territory, and even elite players don't always return. Yesiao asks the girl not to worry, assuring her that he can handle any threat, and receives a message about a new quest. She needs to go to an unknown dungeon for a rare item. The toad starts to grumble. The guy stops her and thinks that with the right amount of money he can defeat any dragon. Yesiao activates the portal. Sharel recognizes the High Hall token in his hand, and wonders where a guy with such a low character level got it from. Dolores appears in a bright glow. The girl moans languidly and asks which cutie called her this time. Materializing in space, she notices Yesiao, after which she calls the guy brother and asks if he missed his sister. However, the smile quickly disappears from her face. She asks the guy if this time there will really be dragons and dangerous high-level creatures again. Yesiao smiles and tells the girl that she is indeed insightful. This time, there really will be a dragon again. Dolores states that she injured her entire back last time and is still recovering, to which the guy replies that the conditions will be the same, but the reward is 2 million gold coins. Dolores explains that it's not a matter of reluctance. She's genuinely unwell and won't be able to join until after a month of game time. The guy offers to share the location of the source of the sacred spirit that restores strength. The girl clearly shows interest, attracted by the possible benefits of the deal. After some time, they come to an agreement, and Yesiao announces that they are moving out immediately. Dolores wants to know where exactly the source of the Holy Spirit is. The guy answers that it is on a lost island. Sharel watches the young man go by and thinks he's something special, an unusual and interesting character among all the players she's met during the game. The girl is clearly captivated by the young man, and a message arrives that Sharel's favorability has increased by 10 points. Meanwhile, a group of players outside the newbie village are trying to bring the young man back to consciousness. The goblins killed him twice, and after his revival, his body began to fail. The girl began to get hysterical, because in this game, you can really die. She says that she really wants to go home, to which the guy asks her to calm down. Everyone wants to go home, but no one knows how to exit the game after being forced into it by the system. Yesiao and Dolores are walking along a narrow mountain path, and the toad remarks that this is a very beautiful place, and it is unlikely that a dragon lives here. The guy starts telling her that the lady was right. The monsters here are level 70, and if it weren't for her boost, they would already be surrounded by enemies. Dolores thinks that since they are going into the dungeon, they should avoid the slaughter. At this time, a huge dragon appears on a nearby cliff. They move on. The girl asks Yesiao if he is sure about the entrance location. If there is a 5th-class dragon there, she does not want to risk her life and engage in battle. The guy asks them not to worry and says that they will not be noticed. The entrance is hidden under a nearby steep slope, inaccessible to the dragon's view from his position. They continue on their way for some time, after which Yesiao confidently says that he was right, and this road seems familiar to him. Not far from their route, on top of a huge ancient rock, a huge dragon sits motionless. The young people slowly approach the massive stone gates. The guy confidently declares to his companion that they have finally reached the right place. Dolores carefully touches the surface of the huge stone slab and thinks that they have another serious problem. The teleporter looks perfect, but there are no traces of mana. The girl understands that she won't be able to launch it, and the guy calmly offers to entrust the activation to him. Yesiao silently takes out a sharp knife and without hesitation makes a small wound on the surface of his palm. Placing his bloody hand on the cold surface of a huge stone slab, he successfully activates the teleporter. The girl is surprised at how the guy knows how to open it. The massive gate doors begin to slide open, and Dolores' surprised voice can be heard, continuing to be amazed that the guy actually managed to activate the teleporter. After some time, the young people begin to descend into the dark dungeon. The guy proudly boasts that he has his own proven methods and asks his companion to follow him. A system message arrives stating that there is only one exit in this tangled labyrinth, and if you don't find it within the allotted time, you could be stuck here forever. The toad grumbles irritably, asking if the guy will ever lead them to a safe place, since they are only given 3 hours for the task, whereas before there were 3 whole days. The girl warns the boy that this mission is much more dangerous than fighting a level 5 dragon, and asks if he is sure he wants to go further. Yesiao calls the girl sister and asks with a grin if a divine-level witch is really afraid of some dungeon. In response, Dolores states that she has divine powers and is an elder of the Supreme Hall and a powerful sorceress. So why should she be afraid of this creepy labyrinth? After these words, the guy starts talking about the camouflage spell. Dolores says that it is a low-level spell that she did not study even when she was a beginner. The guy asks not to get angry, explaining that it is only important to reliably hide their presence, which is enough for success. Dolores snaps her fingers, saying that such a spell is a trifle. This dark dungeon is home to 5 terrifying monsters, 4 of which are level 60 creepy crawlies, and 1 of which is a level 80 elite boss. Dolores asks in surprise if he is a prophet since he knows so much about the labyrinth. Yahello calmly replies that he went through this damned labyrinth 800 times in his past life. He points to a group of dangerous monsters and tells his companion to carefully slip past them without attracting unnecessary attention. The girl mockingly asks if he is seriously going to teach her, since in her long life she has walked through more labyrinths than the guy has walked through roads. Yahello deftly jumps over a deep ditch filled with sharp metal stakes and asks the girl to watch his actions carefully. With great speed, he begins to rush past the first monster, pressing his back as close as possible to the cold stone wall. Dolores is genuinely surprised, as the boy just walked past the elite monster without any detection from the creature. The girl honestly declares that she takes back her mocking words, after which she resolutely jumps over the ditch with sharp spears. After some time, the young people cautiously stop near a dilapidated ancient amphitheater, and the guy warns them that they need to prepare for battle. Yahello looks closely at the powerful opponent and thinks that, as expected, he is very different from the creature he was in his past life. The Labyrinth Guardian is a rare spirit beast with powerful energy, and its exact rank, level, and combat attributes remain completely unknown. The guy is about to grab a chest with valuable treasures, and insistently asks the girl to properly prepare for a powerful magical attack. Yahello once again asks Ebisu not to make any reckless moves, otherwise they will awaken a spirit beast of enormous destructive power. Ebisu, clearly displeased, starts arguing with the guy, and abruptly states that he should focus on his own safety instead of lecturing him. After some time, the young man finally reaches the coveted chest. This item is an artifact of a hidden class, and he almost took possession of it. Upon opening the ancient chest, Yahello is astonished to discover that the treasures inside have also changed significantly compared to the past. At this tense moment, the giant monster suddenly starts to move and begins to slowly but menacingly turn towards the guy. The monster notices Yahello at the chest and prepares to attack him, but at that moment it receives a powerful ice blow that instantly freezes it. Dolores shouts loudly at the guy to not hesitate for a second, and to run from here as quickly as possible while there is still time. The giant level 100 creature quickly deals with the magical ice curse placed on it and frees itself from its shackles. Yahello and the toad try their best to escape by running away, hearing the gigantic stomping of a huge monster chasing them behind them. Dolores activates her next powerful spell, and a glowing pentagonal magical form materializes in the air right in front of her. Giant bolts of lightning begin to rumble through the surrounding dungeon, and the huge pursuer suddenly freezes in place. At this moment, Yahello carefully examines the trophies he has obtained: a scroll made of sheepskin, and a restoration stone with enormous magical power. The artifact allows you to completely reset the cooldown of absolutely any item or skill, regardless of its rank. The huge monster finally freezes and completely stops its attempts to move. The girl asks the guy what they will do with this powerful boss: fight him, or just wisely leave here. The guy firmly declares that they will definitely fight the monster and insistently asks the girl to give it her all. Dolores uses all her accumulated divine power. The next powerful wave of giant lightning strikes the level 100 boss with a roar. She raises her ancient magic staff high into the air, and significantly increases the energy pressure on the enemy. The monster, overcome with rage, feels unbearable pain and screams with force, its terrible cry echoing throughout the gloomy dungeon. Yahello doesn't understand why this powerful creature is making such desperate cries. The toad suggests that the creature is simply going crazy. After some time, a giant clawed paw breaks through the huge stone wall, and the guy realizes with horror that the boss has summoned a dragon. Following the massive paw, a terrifying giant dragon head appears in the dark cave, and a powerful stream of fire spews out at the young people. The boys immediately realize that there is no way to defeat this huge monster in battle, and they need to get out of here as quickly as possible. The toad, following close behind them, curses loudly and indignantly asks why everything always ends with them escaping in disgraceful flight. Yahello doesn't understand at all how this happened, because this boss had never been able to summon a dragon for help before. The toad openly panics and claims that the enraged monster does not respond to magical slowdowns when enraged, so we must leave here immediately. Suddenly, Yesiao stops abruptly, realizing that the monster is trying to attack with all its might, and so makes the bold decision to attack first. The girl begs Yesiao not to take risks, since he is only level 12 against level 100, but he confidently says that it is time to test the fireball artifact in action. With a loud battle cry, "Die!" the guy resolutely points his magic icon towards the huge boss. A blindingly bright beam of energy instantly erupts from the ancient artifact, striking the monster, causing it to lose 242 units of life. Yesiao is disappointed with the weak damage and wonders if that's all. The toad contemptuously calls him a brat, and says that he won't drag his corpse if he gets killed. At this tense moment, the monster's body begins to shake violently and convulse with convulsive movements. Suddenly, a powerful, destructive explosion occurs, and the level 100 boss instantly loses a colossal amount of life. After some time, the huge monster falls to the ground with a roar. Messages arrive that the target's health is below 20%, and the instant death effect has been activated. The guy is congratulated on defeating the monster, after which he instantly reaches level 20. Dolores finds it incredible that a level 12 newbie managed to defeat a level 100 boss alone. This message is broadcast to all players. They cannot believe that the Night Guard destroyed such a dangerous enemy. Players begin to talk among themselves, and believe that this game urgently needs to be checked for possible bugs and errors. The player rankings are instantly updated, and Yesiao pulls ahead by a large margin, remaining in first place. The man confidently declares that Yesiao is definitely cheating, and there can be no other option, since a newbie is incapable of killing the boss. Dolores states that things are bad, the summoned dragon is furious, and the cave is about to collapse. She asks if the guy is going to just stand there any longer. The girl asks him to forget about the prey and opens a magical portal, warning that if he doesn't leave now, it will be too late. The guy agrees with the arguments, because survival is now the top priority. After a few seconds, the huge cave turns out to be completely blocked by giant stones. Dolores sighs heavily and shares with the guy that she hasn't experienced such a powerful adrenaline rush from an adventure in a long time. Toad complains that she almost died of fear, and after everything she went through, she will need to go shopping to relieve the stress. The guy notices something in the sky and becomes wary. A fire dragon is rapidly approaching them, the level of whose power is unknown to the system. Dolores begins to get noticeably nervous, and angrily declares that she has had enough of adventures, and is washing her hands of it. A powerful, fiery explosion occurs behind the young people, and the toad screams hysterically that this time, they will definitely die for real. Meanwhile, the plot moves to the central city, which is called Fen. Sherelle is shocked by what happened, because the guy actually managed to somehow get the item from the dangerous labyrinth. The girl admiringly declares that Yesiao is simply magnificent, to which the guy modestly replies that this is mere trifles for him. Now that they have the sacred scroll made of sheepskin, Yesiao is curious about how to unlock the hidden class with it. Sherelle examines the artifact and says that it is not a list for changing classes. As they thought, the guy is surprised and asks what she means. According to her uncle, this ancient list reveals the hidden potential of Yesiao, so the girl asks the guy to follow her. The guy looks around carefully. He didn't know that there was a secret room in this familiar building, since he hadn't seen it before. A man in a spacious room greets the guy and says that he is the one he has been looking for a long time. Yesiao bows respectfully and greets the master, then declares that he has come here to unlock his hidden class. The man thought that this ancient method of changing classes had long since disappeared from this world. But after studying the scroll carefully, he declares that he was wrong in his assumptions. The beast tamer promises to help the boy with the difficult transition, and asks if he is truly ready for the upcoming test and its consequences. The magic scroll will reveal the true power of Yesiao. The man asks to follow the dictates of the heart, relax, do not resist the process, and under no circumstances panic. Strange energy spheres suddenly appear around Yesiao and begin to glow intensely with magical light. The light from the energy spheres becomes brighter and more intense. Yesiao carefully watches their movement around his body. The man, with undisguised surprise, says that this is completely impossible, because all 5 magic balls were activated at the same time, which has never happened before. Sherelle asks her uncle if this is what he meant when he told her about moving up to the top class of power. 5 magic balls signify ultimate potential, but during the transition, the man was only able to activate 3, which was considered a significant success. However, Yesiao surpassed the limits of ordinary people and activated all 5 magic balls at once, making the tamer doubt whether he is even human. Sherelle looks at Yesiao with admiration and thinks that he is more than just an ordinary person. At this moment, a message arrives that Yesiao has successfully changed his class and completed the Dragon's Whisper quest. Upon completion, the skills of a rare hidden class are unlocked. The guy feels a surge of strength, and a message about the activation of the legendary class's combat skills arrives. The man exclaims that this is impossible. The legendary class gives 40 points per level. Yesiao enjoys a massive stat boost and receives a blueprint for the Godguard armor set. The tamer praises him as incredibly gifted, and Yesiao thanks him for his help and guidance. The boy enters the divine realm. His potential is limitless. The toad considers him special and unique. A group of players approaches the guardian. They greet him politely and tell him that they want to undergo the dangerous trials of the abyss. The guard notices that the young men look well prepared and asks what level of the test they are about to undergo. A player named Freed Tiger confidently declares that he wants to complete the abyss-level challenge alone, without the help of a team. The guard looks him over carefully from head to toe and quietly says that another reckless daredevil has appeared, ready to risk his life. The player, with undisguised pride, replies that he lives for trials and dangers, and even if he dies in the dungeon, he will do so without any regret. The guard silently watches the player with a heavy gaze and thinks to himself that these visitors from another world are truly unusual and strange people. 5 minutes later, the player runs out of the dungeon in panic, loudly asking those around him to help him and save him from pursuit. The girls from his team are very worried about the wounded man and immediately rush to his aid. The player haltingly explains that the monsters in the dungeon have mutated and become more dangerous, and the guard notes that not everyone is capable of traversing the abyss level alone. Yesiao carefully studies the gaming forum newsfeed, which is full of stories about his recent exploits and incredible achievements. The guy doesn't want to reveal his true identity to the general public. He believes it's better not to attract unnecessary attention. Focusing on upgrading, the guy watches as the little green thing attacks another monster. After dealing critical damage with streams of fire, the little green creature finishes off the enemy with blows from its paws and wings. The next moment, the huge stone giant falls to the ground with a deafening roar, turning into a pile of rubble. After defeating him, valuable trophies appear: a rock-destroying hammer and a heavy stone two-handed sword. Yesiao carefully studies the characteristics of the sword, but suddenly hears a rumble behind him. The guy turns around and sees another stone giant nearby. He carefully assesses the enemy and believes that the monster is similar in strength to a high-level elite boss. Information comes in that this is a guardian of the abyss, having the 20th level and a strength of 3,000 units. Yesiao orders the green dragon to immediately attack the enemy from the air, while he covers them with attacks from the ground. The girl is very worried about the team captain, and anxiously wonders if their captain has died. The man lost a lot of strength and health. He says in confusion that this is impossible, because they were definitely following in the footsteps of the Night Hunter. The players agree that Yesiao must have used some secret loophole to pass the trials. A mass message arrives that Night Hunter has completed the trials of the 20th level of the abyss, becoming the first player in history to achieve this alone. The giant stone creature falls to the ground with a deafening roar, and the boy tells the green dragon that it was an easy victory. To his surprise, no valuable loot appears, but simply another incomprehensible stone fragment of unknown purpose falls out. The wanderer dropped one fragment, now this guard. The guy wonders what these strange things are. Could these really be materials for creating a divine-ranked item? Yesiao thinks he'll figure it out later, since there's no point in trying to figure it out himself, and then activates the magic portal to move. He instantly moves to another location, where he immediately hears solemn congratulations from the warriors who greet him. The knights greet the boy, calling him a great warrior, and inform him that he has passed the tests and want to give him a well-deserved reward. Yesiao is very surprised by such a sudden meeting with the knights and begins to slowly approach them. The box contains a valor stone, which is of epic rank, possesses colossal power, and can be used to enhance the valor badge. The guy decides to test their synergy. Yesiao brings the two artifacts closer to each other, after which they begin to spark with flashes of magical energy. The badge of valor glows with a bright, dazzling light, its primary combat stats increasing by over 50% of their original values. The boy is overjoyed and loudly tells his dragon that with this badge, he will be invincible in the level 30 zone. At this point, a system message appears. Exiting the game will soon become available to all players. Players begin to vigorously discuss system updates and are happy to think that they can finally exit the virtual game. Many people enthusiastically talk about their desire to return to the real world, and after a few minutes, they begin to teleport en masse. A newscaster's voice sounds. Experts predict that the gaming phenomenon has spread throughout the world. If a person falls asleep, they automatically end up in a game. The apocalypse has become reality. People have lost control of their sleep transitions, and a reporter offers an interview with a high-level player about new strategies. Yahello watches the news with irritation. The name of this self-proclaimed expert is completely unfamiliar to him. Meanwhile, the reporter asks more questions, and asks the expert who else has passed the tests of the abyss, besides the mysterious Night Hunter. The expert states that there are no precise statistics on this issue yet, but warns that going to the test alone is extremely dangerous. The girl continues asking about the Night Hunter, and says that this guy became a top player, and twice passed the trials of the 20th level of the abyss. The man watches the report and thinks that even the best players couldn't compare to the Night Hunter. If he were on his team, he would gain power over the world of the apocalypse. He orders his subordinates to use all available means to find out everything about the identity of the Night Hunter and his whereabouts. Yahello is studying the statistics. The game is going through maintenance. Access is now possible only through sleep. It seems that the apocalypse's invasion of the real world is happening more slowly than in his past life, and the guy considers this the perfect chance to level up. For beast tamers, level 30 is the key level, where a slot for a new pet opens. In the Grey Mist Valley, Yahello orders the green baby to deliver a stunning blow. The dragon submits, and a powerful vibrational wave of energy covers the enemies. The giant stone creatures are unable to resist her and freeze in place for a few seconds. The green dragon takes advantage of this and instantly delivers a series of blows with a red-hot stream of fire. A moment later, the stone colossi are completely shattered into small stones, and Yahello's voice is heard, declaring that it is an excellent job. The boy is happy that his dragon is growing in strength and mastering new skills, and a sound signal informs that the little green one has reached level 24. Players are loudly discussing this event and find it simply incredible that Yahello has just leveled up again. One of the players analyzes the information and says that he thought that leveling up would be slower at higher levels. But instead, the leader's lead is growing wider and wider, and the players support their captain and say that second place is already not bad. The action moves to the dragon's nest number 97, where the dragon loudly says that the egg has been missing for several days. The second dragon answers him that he is the prophet of dragons, and it is his personal business how to act in this situation. In response, the red dragon asks if his partner can't sense the aura of this man, whose presence causes him great disgust and anxiety. The blue dragon asks his comrade if he really means that sickening divine power emanating from the man. The red dragon reminds us that he is a prophet, and sees more than others. He is ready to entrust the future of his people to a mere mortal being. The blue dragon angrily declares that this is utter recklessness, after which they take off into the sky, saying that there is no more time for arguing. The prophet knows that the darkness will overcome space and time and will mercilessly devour everything in its path, and this man is their last hope for salvation. The blue dragon continues to be indignant, and wonders if this idiot is really going to entrust the fate of the people to a mere mortal. The players' voices are heard in excitement. It wasn't easy, but their team was finally able to reach the central city. Besides the Night Hunter, these guys are the first players to reach the central city. Suddenly they look up to the sky as they hear a loud cry for help, and see two huge dragons flying in the sky. The team captain's mouth drops open in surprise, before quietly telling his teammates that this is simply a magnificent and rare sight. Yahello is in the clutches of a dragon, and loudly calls for help. The toad orders him to stop screaming, because they do not know anyone who could save him from these dragons. The giant dragons continue to fly rapidly over the city, and Yahello's cries become louder and more desperate with each passing second. The players have never seen such huge creatures up close, and one of them claims that the dragon has a Night Hunter in its clutches. He asks the captain what they should do in this situation, to which the guy replies that even at level 100 the player has no chance. The townspeople begin to vigorously discuss breaking news. A huge dragon has appeared in one of the main cities, and one poor fellow has fallen into its clutches. It is speculated that the captured player, Night Hunter, is the news that immediately becomes the main one in the chats. The dragons suddenly drop their altitude and land on a huge glowing magic circle. Yahello looks closely at the huge creatures and catches himself thinking that these dragons look very familiar. He has definitely seen them before. The guy realizes with horror that things are really bad, and that the end has come for him. He stole an egg from one dragon and cleaned out the cave from the second. The dragon slowly leans towards the boy, calls him mortal, and asks if he is afraid of retribution for his crimes against dragons. The prophet pushes the dragon aside and tells the mortal that he has nothing to fear. The egg was the last hope of their people. The prophet says that bringing the boy here means giving him a great chance. Yahello, trying not to show his fear, asks in a trembling voice if he is talking about the green baby. The blue dragon explodes in rage, cursing loudly and asking how dare he give the dragon such a shameful name. The boy dodges the blows of his giant clawed paws and says that the green baby actually likes his name. The prophet orders them to stop arguing. They have little time, and he suggests getting straight to the point without any unnecessary talk. The dragons suddenly rise above the boy and begin to recite an ancient prayer in the name of the almighty dragon god. Yahello becomes nervous and asks what they are going to do to him, begging them not to kill him and promising to follow any orders. The eyes of the enormous stone statue glow, energy filling the dragons, which begin to charge, accumulating power for the ritual. Having accumulated enough energy, the prophet raises his head and releases a powerful stream of light at the guy, filled with the ancient power of the ritual. As he says the prayer for the blessing of the dragon clan, Yahello's body begins to glow with overflowing energy. The prophet orders the boy to accept part of the dragon god's power, after which his body is pierced by a powerful field of magical energy. A large number of players gather in the square, eagerly discussing what happened to the mysterious night hunter. Rumors started spreading around town that the guy had used some kind of trick to level up and stay on top, and now it was time to pay the dragons back. Yahello regains consciousness, slowly opens his eyes, and receives a message that he has received the blessing of the dragon god and has become much stronger. The guy has a terrible headache. He looks around and wonders where they are now. Toad states that the dragons have flown away, while the guy realizes that this looks like a level 40 danger zone. The guy is a little upset, because after everything he has experienced, he does not feel any big changes, after which he begins to check his skills and characteristics. After some time, he is happy to learn that he has a new skill called Money Shield. 100 gold coins are converted into protection. In addition, he does not require a skill cooldown, and other useful abilities have also appeared. The guy has no limit on the number of animals. Even royal tamers are only allowed to have 3 pets, but he has no limits. The boy falls to his knees and calls upon the great dragon gods, promising that the green baby will follow their path and thank his ancestors for the strength and blessings they have given him. The action moves to a location called the Testing Hall, which has a difficulty level of 30. At the entrance, the young man notices a stern guard. The toad plaintively asks the guy to try not to show off this time. In a menacing voice, the guard asks the boy if he really is a night hunter, and then asks if he wants to undergo the Abyss level test. The guard asks to wait a little, during which time the entrance to the dungeon is activated by magical runes and opens for the tester. After a few minutes, the knight asks to enter the location and sincerely wishes the young man luck in passing the dangerous test. The guy passes through the gate and finds himself in snowy mountains with a harsh climate and low air temperatures. Together with the green dragon and the toad, Yahello makes his way through the deep snowdrifts, the cold icy wind blowing mercilessly on their bodies. Yahello starts complaining that it is terribly cold here, and if he had known about such cold in advance, he would have dressed warmer. Suddenly he turns around sharply, as he sees behind him a huge lump of ice that is quickly moving straight towards him. The guy tries to run away from danger, but the lump catches up with him, and at the last moment, Yahello jumps to the side. Toad asks the guy angrily why he is dodging, because he could have just turned on his new money shield for protection. The next second, a huge, ferocious snowman suddenly jumps out of a huge pile of snow. Yahello instantly reacts to the threat and orders the green dragon to immediately attack the enemy with fire. The baby quickly gains altitude above the battlefield, after which it spews a powerful fountain of flame. The green dragon's powers increased significantly after the blessing, and a huge stream of flame crashed into the snowman with destructive force. A system congratulation is received that the player has successfully killed the mutated snow yeti with one hit. Yahello asks the toad if she saw the little one finish off the huge monster with just one blast of flame. A message arrives that the green dragon's skills have improved significantly, and he is able to deal damage equal to 500%. Loud screams and stomping sounds are heard, and a whole horde of angry snow creatures appears from over the horizon, running towards them. Yahello orders the little one to charge in and kill them all, leaving no monster alive. The green dragon quickly approaches the giant crowd of monsters and begins to intensely drench them with streams of flame. Half an hour of intense battle passes, and a congratulatory message arrives stating that the player has killed a royal-level Abyss Explorer. The boy is delighted by the baby's ever-increasing level, because even the royal monster couldn't withstand one blow from the dragon. Toad doesn't share his joy and asks the guy what he's proud of, after which he reminds him that he used to be kicked like a puppy. A large number of players are gathering near the information board. The night hunter has shown no signs of life for several days, and many believe he was preparing something cool. The man never doubted the night hunter. He thinks that such a figure could not have disappeared without a trace. His comrade confirms that the boy has passed the test at level 30, and this man's potential is truly limitless, as they thought. They are planning to return to the city because they want to meet this interesting guy in person and offer him cooperation. Xiao receives the third unknown fragment and wonders how many of them exist in this world. This crystal is composed of a rare material created by infusing the stone with the heroic power of light. The boy says goodbye to the guard and thinks that this stone will be useful. He will be able to improve the heroic badge again. Meanwhile, the action moves to the capital of Feng Province, where Xiao returns after the trials. The guy notices that during the few days he was gone, the city became much more crowded. He is about to appraise the loot, but sees a huge number of people standing in line to see the appraiser. Xiao asks to evaluate his artifacts, to which the master, without being distracted from his work, sends him away and demands that he get in line. The man turns around and instantly recognizes Xiao, after which his demeanor immediately changes to respectful. He calls the guy sir and respectfully asks him to enter the workshop without waiting, bypassing the long line of visitors. The players standing in line start to get upset and wonder who this guy is. One of them says that he is a first-class citizen. Xiao asks the master to first evaluate the thing in his hands. The man immediately recognizes the heroic badge. The master begins to carefully work with the badge, because if it breaks, he will not be able to pay for it in his entire life. He places the artifact on a special anvil to carefully check all the characteristics of the badge and its magical power. A bright light will blind everyone present in the workshop. This legendary item of courage can only be possessed by those who have passed the trials of the underworld level. Xiao carefully examines the icon, which at first glance seems unremarkable, but conceals a powerful, hidden power. At this point, players are surprised to realize that the legendary Night Hunter is standing before them. They immediately rush to the guy with requests to add him as a friend, and also ask numerous questions. The master pushes them away and demands that they not interfere. Xiao regretfully realizes that it is no longer possible to remain in the shadows. His identity has been revealed. Players continue to pester the appraiser with endless requests, wanting to buy all the gear that Xiao brought in for appraisal. The game forum is flooded with messages. Everyone is very surprised that a Night Hunter has appeared in the city of Feng and is evaluating a bunch of legendary equipment. A huge number of players rush to the shop from all over the city, all of them wanting to become Xiao's disciples and receive his advice. The guy doesn't like such close attention at all, and at the first opportunity, he tries to quietly disappear from the crowd. Xiao finds it very tiring that all the attention is focused on him. He doesn't notice how a man is sneaking up on him from behind. The stranger calls him by name. The guy turns around sharply and asks suspiciously what he wants from him. The man states that he has no bad intentions. They just want to offer the young man a good deal. Xiao asks what kind of deal they are talking about. Does he really want to buy his legendary equipment? The interlocutor confidently declares that the guy will not be able to refuse his offer. It is too profitable. Xiao asks in surprise if he would really pay tens of billions for the equipment, and thinks it's suspicious since the guy suddenly appeared and is now bragging to him. His gaze falls on the assassin behind the man. Xiao remembers that in his past life, he was a top lone assassin who always operated without factions. The man begins to explain that Xiao has single-handedly captured first place in the rankings, and he understands that the guy has enormous potential. The man says that he wants to be with the guy on his way to the top, because he will achieve a lot. Xiao listens silently, trying to understand what this stranger is getting at. The man declares that he does not like empty promises. He promises money, status, and women if a guy just asks. He asks to join his organization. Xiao is pleased to hear these words, because the man came to negotiate, which proves recognition of his strength. A moment later, a bright flame erupts in Xiao's palms. He calls the man brother, and is about to send him to the respawn point to cool down a bit. The stranger is very surprised. He wonders if the guy would really dare to attack him right in the city center. A second later, Xiao delivers a powerful energy blow to the enemy, which takes away over 3,000 health points. The subordinates are in great shock. Did he really kill the young master in front of everyone? Xiao turns around and walks away calmly. The assassin stops his comrades. This is the main city, and murder is prohibited by law here. Now they can't take risks and take revenge. Suddenly a loud, irritated voice is heard. Someone asks what kind of insolence this is. Very quickly, the city guards surround Xiao. The knights order no one to move from the spot and await the investigation. The security officer asks who dared to kill in the main city. Is someone really tired of living? Xiao calmly replies that he did it. The officer is very surprised by the impudence with which the guy answers the question. However, a second later, he realizes that standing in front of him is a first-class citizen with special privileges. He changes his tone and apologizes for disturbing him, after which he asks the respected citizen what happened here. Yahello states that the stranger tried to harass him, and he taught him a lesson. The officer asks to let them sort it out next time. The city's safety is their direct responsibility, and the surrounding players are greatly surprised. They understand that they are currently unable to do anything against a first-class citizen. In a loud voice, the security officer tells his subordinates that the incident is over, and orders them to return to their base. One of the knights quietly asks the officer what's going on and why they haven't arrested the guy. The man orders them to be silent and reminds them that this is a first-class citizen, the very young man that the Duchess is looking for. They say the Duchess hasn't been able to find him for a couple of days and is almost going crazy. This guy is clearly not like the others. Shirelle sadly asks the maid if she is mocking her by withholding important information. The girl wonders why there is still no news about the whereabouts of the Night Hunter. At this moment, the maid runs into the room and tells the mistress that she has urgent news. The Duchess's spirits immediately lift, and she hopefully asks the girl where he is now. Sigmund appears at the spawn point, calling his subordinates a bunch of clueless idiots and asking why they didn't stop the guy. The assassin bows respectfully and says that the man has lost his composure. After all, he is a level 30 player, so it's no wonder the guy is no match. Sigmund thinks that he was wrong to give the guy a reason to consider himself an equal, and hopes that Yahello will soon understand how stupid it was to anger him and reject a lucrative offer. The commander orders the group to return for equipment, but a voice comes from the roof, informing them that it is too late, and they will no longer need it. Yahello's figure suddenly appears on the roof of a nearby building, leaving players to wonder what he was up to by appearing in this dangerous spawn zone. Sigmund knows from bitter experience that the current threat level in this area is tens of times greater than that of the main city. The staff, which the boy confidently holds in his hands, suddenly flares with a blinding golden glow, filling the entire space around them. Yahello loudly addresses the assembled people. If a weed is not pulled out by the roots in the spring, it will grow back in the fall. A fireball erupts from the tip of his staff and slams into Sigmund at incredible speed, dealing devastating damage. Critically wounded, the man loses consciousness and falls to the ground. His subordinates, overcome with rage, begin to shower Yahello with the last words. Yahello calmly warns them that they better not move, otherwise their commander will not be the only victim. Yahello declares that for him there is no difference between killing one and a whole crowd. Sigmund is resurrected, and his subordinates rush to help him rise after the revival. The enraged man curses and asks the boy what he is up to, warning him not to get in his way, because his family and friends will always help him in trouble. Yahello declares that such threats have no effect on him at all, and without delay, he delivers his next powerful blow. More and more players are gathering around the respawn point. They are completely confused. The Night Hunter is killing right in a protected place. The assassin tries to say something to Sigmund, but his comrade replies that the young master is no longer reviving and has been forcibly logged offline. Very quickly, a group of heavily armed knights appears at the respawn point. The officer asks who dared to kill here. The assassin smiles contentedly, realizing that no matter how strong the Night Hunter is, he cannot escape the Black Inquisitors. The guy still attracted the attention of the Inquisitors, and at this stage, a direct confrontation with them could bring him too many losses. He jumps off the roof of the building, raises both hands up and calmly announces that he has killed a man and is ready to voluntarily go with them. The officer considers this to be an absolutely correct decision, and immediately orders his subordinates to take Yahello away. Loud, desperate cries filled with pain and horror from the misfortune that has happened can be heard from the windows of the huge, luxurious mansion. The man bent over the bed and loudly asked the young gentleman to wake up and open his eyes. Another man quickly enters the room, and with undisguised excitement he asks what exactly happened. The news shakes him to the depths of his soul. He shouts loudly, demanding to know who dared to kill the young master, and in revenge he plans to destroy the entire family of the offender. The action moves to the city's courtroom, where the bishop asks a first-class citizen why he dared to violate the sacred laws of Feng City. The man claims that the young man committed a dangerous and serious crime by brazenly committing murder at the spawn point. Yahello tells those present that this man brought a whole group of people to harass him, and also openly threatened him with his behavior. The guy declares to everyone present in the hall that in order to protect the dignity of a first-class citizen, he was forced to kill the impudent offender. The commission argues, indignant that even the respawn point is unsafe and the wrath of the Night Hunter is deadly. Their loud conversations are interrupted by a stern bishop. Considering that this is a first offense, the court officially sentences Yahello to lifelong expulsion from the East City District. Suddenly the Duchess appears in the courtroom and asks the bishop if such a harsh punishment is not an extremely unfair decision. The High Inquisitor rises respectfully from his seat and says that he welcomes the esteemed lady to these sacred walls of justice. The girl politely asks to drop unnecessary formalities, since the Night Hunter is her close friend, and she does not want him to be treated unfairly. The bishop agrees with the Duchess and admits that he was hasty, because according to the laws of the city, a commoner who dared to insult a first-class citizen must be executed. The girl angrily asks those gathered that if that is the case, then why haven't they removed the handcuffs from the young man yet? Shirel tells those present that Yesiao is completely innocent, and if there are no other serious charges, they are going to leave this place immediately. She waves her hand at the guy in a friendly manner and insistently asks Yesiao to follow her. Yesiao sincerely thanks the girl for her help and intercession, to which she calmly replies that he got off easy this time. She heard that the boy had been kidnapped by a dragon and sent people to look for him. So now she is glad that he is alive and well. Yesiao informs the Duchess that he was indeed kidnapped by 2 dragons, but that it brought a boon and a valuable trophy, after which he gallantly kisses her graceful hand. Shirel states that in this case, she must immediately go to the estate and tell everyone in detail about all her amazing adventures and incredible events. The guy readily agrees to the proposal, since they haven't seen each other for a long time, and he really has something to tell her. The tamer sincerely admires Yesiao because he has filled 5 soul crystals with magical power and is leveling up so quickly that experienced players can't keep up. Yesiao politely thanks the man for the pleasant compliment and high assessment of his abilities, but he now needs to receive a second level-up quest. The man promises to help the young warrior, but no one on this continent will give a definitive answer, because the realm of the gods is mysterious and unpredictable. Shirel worries that Nightstalker won't complete the second level up, but the tamer reassures her, explaining that the deity's approval is needed first. The man talks about a legendary lost temple of the ancient gods, which the boy has heard about in stories, but does not know its exact location on the continent. Shirel is genuinely delighted by the young man's extensive knowledge, as he already knows about a secret lost temple that few have ever heard of. They say that the ancient temple suddenly appears before the eyes of a traveler, like a mirage, and a moment later disappears without a trace into the void. A notification appears about a new task, to find a lost temple, and the girl, with warmth in her voice, promises to wait for his return. Toad rightly considers this task to be very difficult and practically impossible, because it is the same as looking for a tiny needle in a huge haystack. To which Yesiao calmly replies that they will postpone this task for now, because tomorrow the first invasion of the abyssal creatures into their world will begin. The entrance to another dark world will open and countless creatures will burst out through the portal. When this happens, all living beings in the main city of Feng will be mercilessly exterminated. The Toad excitedly asks if the guy is joking and why they haven't run away from here yet. She is very worried about the property that they could lose forever. While fighting powerful creatures, the guy can't help but remember one person and activates a magical portal to contact her. He looks into Dolores's room through the portal, and the girl immediately calls him a brat, believing that if the guy is looking for her, nothing good will happen. Dolores asks with a grin if the young man has once again discovered the lair of some unfortunate dragon and is calling her for help. Yesiao calms her down and tells her that this time there won't be any dragons. Everything is within the city of Feng, and there is no need to go far. She suspiciously asks if there is some catch to this, to which the guy replies that they are old friends and the girl can rely on him. After which the young people agree on a joint mission, and intend to meet later at an appointed place to discuss the details of the upcoming task. While he still has some free time, the guy plans to level up one more time and properly prepare for the invasion of the Abyss. The gaming forum is flooded with alarming messages, and members are beginning to escalate the situation in order to take advantage of the opportunity to reveal Yesiao's identity by any means necessary. The young man considers this to be very naive on the part of the players. He needs to rest quickly, as there can be a lot of serious work to do at night. Players suddenly appear in the location. They don't understand what's happening, because many of them didn't even go to bed, but found themselves in a game that is forcibly sucking them in again. At the appointed time, the girl appears at the meeting place, and Yesiao praises her for such exemplary punctuality and responsible approach. Dolores still can't wake up. In the silence of the night city, she's troubled by the thought that the guy clearly didn't invite her here just to talk. At that moment, bright flashes of lightning illuminate the night sky, and Yesiao instantly orders the girl to immediately apply strengthening buffs. A dark, gloomy portal opens in the very heart of the city, and with its appearance, the Abyss begins its invasion of the world of the living. The portal grows larger and larger in size, and a huge number of terrible creatures of various shapes and sizes burst out of it. City guards shout loudly that an abyssal invasion is beginning, and the entire city immediately goes into combat alert level 1. Fires and terrible destruction begin throughout the city. All mages are immediately called to the city walls, and security must urgently evacuate civilians. Dolores is very surprised at how the guy managed to predict the invasion of the disaster, and warn her about this dangerous event in advance. Xiao says that they can handle monsters of several dozen levels. He asks Dolores to believe in herself, after which she releases divine level fire. After some time, they notice a level 100 abyss boss of the Lord class, who poses a mortal threat to all the city's defenders. Dolores is becoming increasingly convinced that this bastard has deceived her again, because every time he calls her, everything turns out far from simple. The girl releases a powerful wave of magical energy that envelops the Dark Lord from all sides with strong, invisible chains of spell. She calls upon the most powerful spells in her arsenal and greatly increases the magical pressure on the enemy, trying to crush their defense. Just a moment later, the terrifying monster lets out a piercing cry of pain and collapses to the ground with a deafening roar, defeated by the crushing force of her magic. Xiao praises the girl for her skill, as she destroyed a powerful enemy with one blow. At this time, another elite boss appears next to them. Dolores again calls the young man a brat, and indignantly demands that he stop standing on the sidelines and finally intervene and help her in this fierce battle with the monsters. Xiao summons a small green dragon, and declares that it is now his turn to fight against the enemies. The giant creature furiously attacks the fortress wall, trying to break through it and get inside to the defenseless inhabitants, whose fate hangs in the balance. The mages use all their powers and abilities and desperately try to prevent the monsters from breaking through the protected perimeter. At this moment, the green dragon unleashes a powerful flame on the monster, congratulating them that they have killed the elite anomalous boss of the abyss. Xiao warns the dragon to be careful next time, as he has destroyed another of his commercial buildings with his flames. The little dragon continues its fiery attacks, and one after another, reports of the destruction of anomalous bosses come in. Xiao is clearly pleased with the current development, as this is the best way to quickly level up. He jumps onto the roof of the building and tells Dolores that the western district is now hers. She must try to hold it off while he and the dragon hunt the bosses. The dragon continues to methodically destroy the monsters, and one of them drops a rare item of epic power, which attracts the guy's attention with its glow. It turns out to be the ring of the devourer, but its effect has not yet been identified by the system and remains a mystery to the owner. On the outskirts of a city, a small group of players tries to escape from a giant, high-level monster. The knight desperately defends himself with his shield from the blow of a monster falling with enormous force. The exhausted warrior holds back the pressure of the monster and tells the captain that he can't take it anymore. He orders his comrades to leave immediately and take the rest of the squad members. The beast can only be held for 5 seconds. The monster roars and delivers another powerful blow, throwing the warrior aside. Players immediately rush to the wounded person and try to bring him back to his senses, providing emergency assistance. The number of giant monsters around is growing, and hope for salvation is almost disappearing. At this moment, a powerful stream of fire falls on the monster, inflicting critical damage. The monster's huge carcass falls to the ground with a crash, raising a cloud of dust, and the captain is greatly surprised, as this boss was killed almost instantly. He notices a small green dragon in the sky, and wonders how such a tiny creature can possess such enormous destructive power. The battle continues, and several powerful monsters attack the dragon at once, trying to surround it from all sides at once. The green dragon deftly dodges their attacks, flies a little higher, and releases 2 powerful streams of fire straight into the crowd of enemies. The deadly flames instantly engulf the vicious monsters, burning them alive and turning their bodies to ashes in a matter of moments. The players are very surprised by what is happening, and admit with admiration that this little dragon is really damn strong and dangerous for opponents. Xiao orders the dragon to stop for a moment, and says that there are still several high-class monsters nearby that are worthy of their attention. The girl instantly recognizes the young man as the legendary Night Hunter, and excitedly declares that this is the very divine warrior about whom legends circulate. The team captain respectfully calls the boy a great hero, and insistently asks him to wait, so that they can thank their savior. Xiao irritably asks what they want from him, to which the players begin to warmly thank the guy for saving their lives in a timely manner. Xiao says there's no need to thank him, adding that the western region is now relatively safe, where players can rest and farm resources in peace. The girl admires the young man, and loudly declares that he is very cool, and if she were his girlfriend, she would definitely have a child with him. The dragon attacks a normal enemy. The guy tells him that killing these monsters is very time-consuming and does not bring any benefit. He looks at the burning city and thinks that he needs to go to the main gate, where the main battle with high-level anomalous monsters is taking place. Numerous players are hiding in shelters, and the entire area is engulfed in massive destruction and fires. Despite this, players realize that the western region has indeed become much safer thanks to the actions of the Night Hunter and his dragon. Suddenly, the girl excitedly announces that the Night Hunter has leveled up again. At this moment, huge fireballs suddenly begin to fly from the main gates of the city, leaving flaming trails in the air. One of them crashes into the western quarter, causing a powerful explosion that destroys several buildings and raises a column of smoke and flame. Yahello looks around the main gate and finds himself thinking that the picture is simply horrifying. The city is burning and collapsing before his eyes. A terrible monster suddenly appears next to him. It is the Skeleton King. The system cannot determine its level. The subordinates report to the team captain that the gate defenses have been completely destroyed. The archers are unable to repel the attacks, and unfortunately, they will not be able to hold out for much longer. The captain sighs heavily, then gives the order to prepare for retreat, realizing that further defense of this position is pointless and will only lead to casualties. He looks around the ruined city walls, and at that moment, his attention is drawn to the powerful electrical discharges sparkling in the night sky above the city. The players' spirits are greatly lifted, as they believe that a divine-level expert has intervened, and that they are finally saved from certain death. Dolores calls the young man a sly one, because he plans to kill this level 100 lord with her help. Yahello replies that she is very smart, and asks her to think of a way to throw him closer to the monster so that he can deal with it personally. The girl warns that this enemy is of an abnormal level. She considers such an undertaking frivolous and too dangerous for the guy's life even with her support. However, after a while, she agrees to help and snaps her fingers, after which she places a powerful protective buff from damage on the guy. There are many medium monsters around the Lord. Yahello asks the girl to clear a path for him, so that he can directly fight the boss without interference. Dolores admits that the guy is really cool, and says that now she will clear the way for him to the main enemy with her magic. The enormous monsters that had surrounded the Lord in a tight ring were paralyzed by a powerful energy field, which bound their movements with invisible chains of spell. They scream and convulse as the girl raises her staff and increases the magical pressure on her opponents. The monsters are blocked by magic, and Yahello instantly rushes to the main boss, thinking that the sister is really a powerful sorceress. The captain thanks Dolores for her help, and believes that the city of Feng is saved. The girl orders them to stop talking and move forward to defend the northern region. The man obeys and gives the command to his subordinates to immediately move north to protect this part of the city. The giant skeleton lord erupts in a dark aura, its massive skeletal body slowly moving, preparing to attack. Dolores tells Yahello that she has done everything possible, and now everything depends only on him and his skills. The toad sitting on the guy's shoulder trembles with fear, and tells the guy not to involve her in this, because this monster can actually kill you. The Skeleton King begins to move sharply towards the enemy, and raises his giant axe high above his head for a killing blow. Dolores activates all her magical powers and, calling Yahello small, orders him to act immediately while she holds the defense against the other monsters. The guy takes the legendary badge out of his inventory and asks the girl not to panic ahead of time, but to just watch carefully what happens next. He points the artifact towards the monster. The icon instantly flares with bright destructive energy, illuminating everything around with the blinding light of divine power. A powerful beam erupts from the artifact and pierces through the giant Skeleton King, passing through his body and leaving a huge flaming hole in the middle. His entire body begins to vibrate strongly, emitting a huge amount of light, and messages come in that critical damage has been received and the Lord has been destroyed. A terrible cracking sound of breaking bones is heard, after which the huge skeleton begins to crumble into small bones. The toad is very surprised. She cannot believe that the guy actually killed this huge monster with just one blow of the legendary artifact. A mass message comes in that the level 100 boss has been destroyed, and players begin to joyfully shout and applaud. The captain recalls that the Night Hunter had not left the city all this time, and most likely it was he who killed this boss with a divine weapon. After the destruction of the Skeleton King, the shield of the patron of the gods and a red-hot mineral appear, the power of which has not yet been identified by the system and remains a mystery. After which, a stargazer's staff appears next to his body, possessing strong magical power and emitting a soft bluish glow of ancient magic. Yahello clutches the staff in his hands and thinks that it was not for nothing that this lord was called a boss, because his drop is different from ordinary monsters. The guy sees that the toad is busy with something near the corpse. Ebisu excitedly says that this is a rare artifact of the divine level. Yexiao replies that she is incredibly lucky today. The rewards for the invasion turned out to be much better than those for completing the legendary quest, and the guy is pleased with the results of this night of monster hunting. The portal begins to slowly close, filled with dark energy, and the surviving monsters panic and fly back into the abyss, fleeing the player's pursuit. The players feel immense joy and relief, screaming loudly as they survive, and the abyssal invasion is finally over. The mayor of the city struggles to get up from the couch and declares that they cannot allow anomalous creatures to enter the main city. The subordinate informs the mayor that the invasion was repelled an hour ago, thanks to the heroic efforts of the defenders and high-level players. The mayor is very surprised by this news and does not understand how this is possible. The knight replies that while he was unconscious, the night hunter and other players repelled the attack of the monsters. The man was clearly stunned by this turn of events. He did not expect that at the most critical moment, another outstanding talent would appear, capable of saving the city from threat. Yexiao and Dolores find themselves in his chambers. The mayor thanks them both for their timely help and reports that they have once again performed a real miracle. The guy behaves politely with the man, and a message arrives that he has received 20 points of favor and respect from the authorities of the city of Feng. After which the guy suggests getting down to business and discussing specific issues without wasting time on long ceremonies and the officials' thanks. The mayor reports that more than half of the city has been destroyed by monsters, and the prosperous eastern district is in ruins. He asks Yexiao to hand over some of the property in the western district. The girl tells him that now most of the real estate in the western district belongs to Mr. Yexiao by right of purchase and ownership of this property. The mayor didn't expect that the guy was the owner of the western district, and this news takes him by surprise, forcing him to reconsider his plans for negotiations with the young hero. Yexiao replies that if they offer a reasonable price for the property, they can always negotiate and find a mutually beneficial solution for both parties. The man considers the offer excellent and is ready to immediately prepare gold coins. Sharelle asks for his support in one important matter. She has already reported to the royal court and thinks that the whole city has witnessed Yexiao's bravery. So the girl wants to submit a petition to grant the guy a noble title. Toad sarcastically remarks that the guy not only managed to earn a gigantic amount of money, but also received a noble title, which is very difficult for a simple player. The mayor states that he has no objections to this, and he fully supports the idea of giving the title to the young hero of Feng City. Yexiao gallantly kisses the girl's hand. He thanks her and does not even know how to express his gratitude to her and to the mayor for their help. Luruyan's loud, hysterical voice echoes throughout the block, demanding that the guy finally answer her messages and stop ignoring her. Luruyan says that if he makes that joke again and doesn't respond, she will truly get angry, and will never forgive him again. The girl believes that he shouldn't have died in the game and calls him a loser, because she invested all her savings in equipment, and he couldn't cope with one monster. Luruyan is thinking about what to do next. She is going to go to Yexiao again, because the new boyfriend is just a nobody, and she was very wrong about him. Now the girl has realized her mistake and realized that Yexiao was the best person in her life, who loved her sincerely, and she believes that an apology will bring everything back. This time she is ready to give the guy everything. If only he would forgive her. She goes out into the street, deciding to go to Yexiao to correct mistakes and make peace. Players think that tomorrow, upon logging into the game, they will immediately find a way to get to Feng City, because other areas are too dangerous, and only the Night Hunter will protect them. Yexiao doesn't understand why so many people rush to the main city. It's too late to go to the trials now. He wants to do forging and improving equipment. The guy makes it to the ruined workshop and tells the appraiser that he came to identify several pieces of equipment found during the abyssal invasion. The master replies that he would be happy to help do this, but his workshop is destroyed, and it is impossible to work here. Yexiao thinks for a moment, then invites the man to follow him. He is going to provide him with a forge and all the necessary equipment for work in another place. After some time they get to the place. The master asks what kind of building it is. The guy asks to go inside and see everything with his own eyes. The man is very surprised by what he sees. As it is a high-level workshop, he did not expect that in the western region there is such a magnificent forge with modern equipment. Yexiao states that the man can become the owner of this store, and as for the income, they can use the same profit-sharing model as before. The master expresses gratitude for the generosity, but the boy interrupts him, preferring to get down to business. He takes out one of the items and hands it to the master for identification. The man carefully examines the item and states that even with the most advanced equipment, he is not sure he will be able to identify such a rare artifact. The guy trusts him and his experience. The master is going to do everything possible to determine the properties of the find. After some time, the man regretfully says that everything is as expected. The identification did not work. He notes that until now, no one has worked with divine artifacts of this level and can do nothing to help the young warrior. Security stops the player at the entrance to the palace, stating that the mayor is busy and cannot receive visitors without prior arrangement. A minute later, Yexiao approaches them and asks if the mayor is there. The guard replies that he is working in the office and asks them to go inside. The mayor greets the young man and asks if anything is wrong since he came so late without warning. The guy claims that he wants to find a lost race that is rumored to have disappeared hundreds of years ago, and no one knows its location on the continent. The man replies that looking for her is like finding a needle in a haystack, but the guy simply asks for a reward to be posted for information on the whereabouts of this race. Yexiao is willing to offer 5 million gold coins for reliable information. The mayor considers this a generous reward and will immediately announce it throughout the city. The next day, all players receive a mass message informing them that the Night Hunter player has become the first in history to pass the Abyss trials at level 40. Yexiao is in the Abyss level location to pass the trial. He is attacked by a huge monster called the Abyss Conductor. The huge monster lets out a deafening roar and furiously unleashes a powerful blow with its clawed paw. The guy instantly uses an energy shield, reflecting the attack and protecting himself from fatal damage from the enemy. At this time, the small green dragon counterattacks the monster with powerful streams of fire. Toad watches the defeated monster and notes that only the presence of a shield made of coins saved them from death. The boy looks happily at the dragon fluttering above him, thinking that thanks to the blessing of the dragon god, his characteristics are growing at a furious pace. The reward is again an incomprehensible fragment, already the fourth. The guy does not understand what it is for and how to use it correctly in the game. He receives a message to urgently report to the mayor regarding the missing race of gnomes, and players immediately rush to the monster's corpse for the remaining rewards and valuable items. The guy is in the mayor's palace. The knight is ready to share important information obtained while patrolling the city's outskirts. The knight tells us that a group of unusual short people has appeared in the dense forest outside the city. Perhaps this is the same lost race. The guy asks if these are really gnomes. The man confirms that during the invasion of anomalous creatures, he accidentally took refuge in the forest and discovered them there. The guy is ready to immediately go into the forest. The knight offers a support squad, but Yexiao decides to handle it himself. In the nearby forest near the city, a group of gnomes are busy with their own affairs, unaware of the player's surveillance. Two players watch them from cover. One wants to catch the gnome alive and receive a reward of 5 million gold coins from the great Night Hunter. One of the gnomes notices a suspicious noise in the bushes and, without giving a sign to the others, looks carefully towards the people, trying to discern the source of the sound in the thicket. The next moment, a huge warhammer flies towards the players, dealing 80 points of damage to them. One of the players cheerfully declares that this is a very weak blow for them. A second later, a second hammer flies at them, inflicting tens of thousands of damage. The players are shocked by what happened. They consider these gnomes to be some kind of abnormal and dangerous opponents, capable of killing even experienced warriors with one blow. Meanwhile, the dwarves loudly curse the people for their treachery and express disgust at their presence. One of the dwarves reminds the others that he warned them not to go through human territories, because they do not want to be an object of curiosity. The dwarves are about to leave the dangerous place as quickly as possible, when a knight with Yexiao appears at the edge of the forest. The players hiding in ambush notice Yexiao and anticipate an interesting show and battle with the dwarves. The knight points to the clearing. The guy is going to go to the dwarves to assess their strength. He warns the boy to be careful, as gnomes have a hot temper and deal monstrous damage, capable of killing with one blow. The knight declares that his task is completed, and from now on the boy will handle the negotiations or the fight himself, as he sees fit. The gnomes are indignant. One is ready to hit the guy with a hammer for his insolence, but his comrade stops him, noting that the young man looks unusual and pleasant to look at. The second dwarf states that he no longer wants to kill him, because he senses something unusual emanating from this man. Something that distinguishes him from the rest of the race. They smell the aroma coming from Yexiao, and it is a very pleasant scent of a divine artifact, and not just one, but several items of enormous power and rarity. The dwarf continues to admire the aroma, which is so rich, which means that the things on the person seem to be even higher than the level of divine artifacts. The second dwarf smells another scent, but cannot remember what it is. After a while, he loudly exclaims that it is the scent of a deity's blessing. The gnomes continue to examine the boy from all sides. They agree that his aura and spiritual power are simply incredible for an ordinary person of this age. They assume that the boy has received the blessing of a high-ranking god, because his aura feels amazingly powerful and unusual. The dwarves are confident that it is precisely thanks to this gift that his spiritual strength significantly exceeds the capabilities of mere mortal warriors. The hunters watch Yahello from cover and wonder why they haven't fought yet, since for some reason they are killed immediately, and the night hunter seems to be on a stroll. The girl believes that double standards only exist in the real world, but who would have thought that even the gnome king with an honest look would turn out to be such a two-faced bastard? Meanwhile, the dwarves show interest in the guy's personality and his goals. Yahello explains that he came here to ask for help in an important matter that requires their participation. They think the guy needs to forge artifacts and improve his equipment, but Yahello says he doesn't need that. He wants to find the lost temple of the ancient gods. The gnomes don't understand why he needs this. The guy asks them not to worry. He has no evil intentions. He just needs the help of a deity to complete the task of changing his profession. The temple holds special significance to the Dwarven people, and its location is not revealed to outsiders without proof of trust. Yahello reports that he has an artifact and asks for help in identifying it, since the local blacksmith was powerless. The dwarves agree to examine the item, considering themselves unsurpassed masters, and the aforementioned blacksmiths unworthy of attention. One of the dwarves immediately determines that the artifact was not hand-forged and is of unknown, divine origin. It shows no traces of forging, and its quality is so high that after contact with a magical element, it itself became an artifact. The dwarves ask how the guy got the artifact, because it is the horn of the god of destruction, which fell off after the death of the ancient deity. Yahello says he killed a high-level abnormal invasion boss yesterday and received this item as a reward. The dwarves agree to examine the artifact, but warn him that the price will be high, and they are not sure whether he will be able to pay. The toad grumbles discontentedly, believing that they want to deceive the guy and extort money, taking advantage of his need for help. The dwarf shows 5 fingers. The guy asks if the job really costs only 5 gold coins. The man gives the boy a stern look and says that the price will be 500,000 gold coins, and not 5, as the young man naively thought. The guy starts bargaining. He says that with this money he can buy 50 bags of rice, and he has never seen so much money in his life. The dwarves think for a moment, then say that the price will be at least 300,000 gold coins, and if that is too much, then he can look for other specialists on the continent. Yahello's announcement shocks the dwarves. If the identification is successful, he will pay each master 1,000,000 gold coins. The guy gives them 1,000 gold pieces as an advance, and promises to deliver food to keep them strong while they work. He receives 25 points of favor with the dwarves, and the masters demand that he immediately bring the artifact to begin the process. After an hour of intense work, the master announces that the identification is complete, and the artifact has been enhanced with ancient techniques. Yahello holds the upgraded horn of the god of destruction, which increased his attack power by 55%. The gnome proudly confirms the completion of the work, and demands the promised reward for the work of high-class craftsmen. The guy assures that everything will be fine with the payment, and asks the dwarves to go with him to the main city of Feng to receive a reward. The dwarves are wary, but Yahello promises to throw a feast with plenty of food, and pay them for identifying new artifacts. Passers-by turn around and look in surprise towards the city's main gates, watching the unusual procession of creatures entering the city. They do not understand at all why the night hunter did not fight the dwarves, and even brought them with him to the city as honored guests and allies. The knight is puzzled, but hopes to receive rare equipment now that peace with the dwarves has become possible. The dwarves enjoy the feast, praise the treats, and admit that they have never eaten anything more delicious in their lives. The knight watches them closely and asks everyone to enjoy the meal. All expenses today are at Mr. Yahello's expense. The guy turns to Thor, reminding him of the temple and asking him to tell him where to look for it, since the contract has been fulfilled. The gnome hands over the item and says that it is a temple detector, passed down from generation to generation, and that if you approach a fire temple, it will give a signal to the owner. And yet, he persistently advises the guy to abandon this idea and not risk his life for the sake of some task to change profession. Thor begins to tell that this temple is inhabited by an incredibly terrible creature, capable of killing any mortal who dares to approach the sacred place of the fire gods. Yahello asks what kind of creature it is, and the dwarf replies that they have never actually seen it themselves. Long ago, the ancestors of the dwarves, led by the god of fire, fled from the temple and bequeathed to their descendants to avoid it at all costs and never return there again. A terrible creature from the abyss appeared there, and to imprison it forever, the god of fire created a fiery wasteland inaccessible to ordinary mortals. Yesiao understands that the fire temple is closely connected to his change of profession, and he needs to get there, despite all the dangers and warnings of the ancient dwarves. Thor admires the young man's courage, and gives him 2 items. The detector will react to the approach to the temple, and the crystal is given to the guy for his hospitality. Yesiao examines the crystal and learns that it contains a special high-level fire magic power. He asks if there are more similar things, and says that he is ready to buy them for gold. Thor starts rummaging through his huge canvas bag, and pulls out several items. He hands the young man some regular fire spirit crystals. Their effect is a little weaker, but if needed, he can give the guy a few from his reserves. Yesiao thanks the dwarf and says that this amount will be quite enough. With them he will be able to resist the fire of the fiery wasteland and pass through it alive. The young man thanks the dwarves for their help and generosity, and in return they wish him luck on his dangerous journey to the temple, and hope that he will survive this ordeal. Toad asks the guy what he plans to do with the fire temple next. Yesiao replies that he is ready to risk his life to change his profession. The young man declares that in such a difficult matter they cannot do without one person who can help him cope with the dangers of the fiery wasteland and the fire temple. Dolores stands in front of the mirror and comes to the conclusion that this magical robe suits her better than the previous one, and makes her figure more graceful and attractive. A knight runs into her chambers and tells the girl that he has arrived and is waiting for her downstairs to talk about an important matter. Dolores turns to Yesiao and grumbles, believing that his appearance again promises danger and trouble. She asks irritably if there is a fight with a dragon or another invasion boss coming up. The guy claims that he doesn't live for fighting, but Dolores doesn't believe him and demands to know the purpose of his visit. Yesiao says that he wants to go to the fire temple to change his profession and needs her support. The girl gets angry, thinks his plan is crazy, wishes him luck, and suggests he handle it himself. The guy asks not to rush into refusal, offering to discuss the price and find a compromise. Dolores replies that the path to the temple is mortally dangerous, and the treasures are not worth the risk. In response, Yesiao shows the girl the dwarf compass, and says that he did not intend to look for the path by chance. This object can show them the way to the fire temple. Dolores understands that it's all about a change of profession, which is why the guy was so persistently looking for her, and asks to give her a week to prepare for a dangerous journey through the wasteland. Yesiao says that there is no time and he is leaving immediately. Dolores is indignant, because they did not even discuss the price. Without her protection, he will not reach the temple alive. 2 days of travel pass, and the action moves to a fiery wasteland, where the temperature reaches unbearable levels for an ordinary person. The young people are slowly moving along huge rivers of molten magma. The girl says that she is terribly hot. They have been walking for 2 days already. The compass begins to move and glow. Its response intensifies, which means that they are already close to their goal, and the fire temple is somewhere nearby. Suddenly, a fire shark appears from the magma next to them. It is an elite level 100 monster that poses a deadly threat to travelers. The guy loudly declares that he is fed up with this dirty shark that constantly bothers them. The girl asks him to provide her with an opponent. She declares that she will now cool her ardor once and for all. Dolores waves her wand, and the huge creature is bound by a thick layer of ice. However, the spell does not work on the fire monster for long. The shark is freed from its icy captivity, and small shards of ice fly in all directions. Suddenly, dozens of these sharks emerge from the fiery magma. The girl is very surprised and wonders where so many of them came from in one place at the same time, and why they attack so aggressively. The guy asks to hold back this attack at any cost. The compass reaction is getting stronger and stronger, which means the temple is very close, and the portal should open any minute. Dolores states that something is wrong, at which point a huge portal instantly appears in front of them, glowing with a bright flame of divine power. It rises higher and higher above the wasteland, and a bright energy circle begins to move inside it, opening a passage into the temple. Yesiao happily declares that this is the main gate of the fire temple, and they have finally found what they have been searching for 2 days. Dolores asks to hurry up with the entrance. She sees that there are more and more sharks, and thinks that things are very bad for them now. Suddenly, giant fish burst out of the magma, attacking travelers from all sides with powerful bursts of flame and lava. Yesiao summons a protective shield that flares around him in a bright sphere, blocking attacks and wasteland fire. He asks the toad to hold on tight and demands Dolores to cast a speed boost while he breaks through to the portal. Dolores sighs, promises to help, and reminds her not to forget about her sister's reward for her risky work. The giant fish emits rays, and even with the fire spirit crystal, the guy takes high damage from attacks. He runs towards the portal with all his might, and the fish fire energy beams at him, trying to stop his progress. Yexiao resolutely shouts that he cannot be stopped, and even the gods are powerless to block the path to his goal. He reaches the gate and instantly finds himself in another space, protected by the walls and magic of the fire temple. The boy looks around and is amazed at how ruined the ancient temple of the gods has become after centuries of oblivion and abandonment. A giant appears nearby, calling him a trespasser, and demanding to know the reason for his visit to the sacred place. Yexiao replies that he came to explore the ruins and receive a blessing to change his profession to a higher rank of power. The skull's eye sockets glow with a scarlet light, the creature declaring that the blessing is necessary to awaken the hidden power. Yexiao asks if a divine blessing is really needed, and the giant orders him to give praise and prostrate himself before the god of fire. The toad whispers that something is clearly wrong with the statue, as it is trying to humiliate the young master by forcing him to bow before it. The creature is outraged by the boy's insolence, because it considers prostrating itself before the god of fire to be the highest honor for a mortal. The statue demands that he show sincerity and shoots a beam of divine power at him, trying to force him to bow before it. Yexiao becomes very angry, and declares that he also has a divine artifact that can withstand the attacks of this arrogant statue. Suddenly, a small green dragon rushes to his defense. The guy is amazed how it appeared there without a command. The dragon suddenly rushes at the statue and begins to strike it repeatedly with its claws and teeth. The guy asks him to come back immediately. However, the little green dragon doesn't listen to the guy, and shooting a stream of fire at the statue, deals 10,000 units of damage. Yexiao is very surprised and wonders if hatred for the gods is really so deeply rooted in the blood of dragons. The huge statue crumbles into pieces, emitting a magical hum, and expresses anger for the disobedience shown to the great god of fire. The creature threatens the intruder. He will pay dearly for his insolence. At this time, a message arrives that the guy is being attacked by an unknown entity. Suddenly, powerful beams of divine energy strike the guy from the temple vault. The ground beneath Yexiao's feet shakes. He wonders if it is really true that the god of fire is attacking him for refusing to kneel before his greatness and power over the element of fire. The young man realizes that he has no chance at all in a fight with God, and the ground beneath his feet begins to shake more and more violently. The temple floor collapses, and Yexiao falls into the huge chasm that forms beneath his feet. The guy curses loudly and begins to think about whether he will die in this damned place, without completing the task to change his profession, and without receiving the blessing for a second promotion. Yexiao summons a money shield for protection, but despite this, powerful energy attacks cause colossal damage to his life. The fall ends and the guy crashes onto a hard surface, having suffered colossal damage to his life bar. He slowly gets to his feet and begins to look around, noticing a giant creature next to him, shrouded in flames and radiating incredible power. Next to him is an immortal divine phoenix, whose characteristics and level remain unknown to the game system. The guy is very surprised that there is no information about this creature, and thinks about whether it could be the most terrible creature that the dwarf Thor warned about in the city of Fung. A voice is heard asking why the man broke the statue of Hephaestus, and judging by the tone, the boy understands that there is an irreconcilable feud between this immortal phoenix and the god of fire. Yexiao confirms his involvement in the incident. The phoenix acknowledges his efforts, but strongly advises him to leave the temple while he still has the opportunity. Otherwise, when Hephaestus appears, the guy will be in trouble. Now that the statue is destroyed, the phoenix has awakened. Very soon he will throw off his shackles, and the god will certainly appear before that moment. Yexiao wonders if the creature is capable of throwing off the shackles of the god. Then why was it imprisoned under the fire temple for so many years? Phoenix replies that the reason was betrayal, because the false god Hephaestus treacherously attacked him and his family when the opportunity presented itself. He took advantage of the phoenix's weakness after the birth of its offspring, and imprisoned it in this prison with magical shackles of the fire element. The boy asks where his child is now and offers to save him in exchange for help and a blessing to change his profession. The phoenix is outraged and declares that man is unworthy of touching his lineage, because mere mortals cannot control the descendant of a sacred bird. The guy irritably asks if he really thinks that he came here for empty talk, and not for the sake of business and the rescue of the prisoner of the god of fire. Yexiao orders the green baby to show his power. The phoenix is amazed, not believing that a human is capable of controlling a dragon of such a level. He is tormented by the question of how the dragon god could bless an insignificant mortal who has neither noble blood nor high origin. Yexiao orders him to stop talking and tell where the phoenix's offspring is. The creature humbles itself and says that the feather will show the way to it. Xiao carefully examines the phoenix feather and thinks that another mythical beast is already waving its paw at him and will soon become his faithful companion in adventures. The toad sarcastically tells the guy that he is celebrating too soon. Now he will actually have to step into a sea of fire and risk his life for the sake of this phoenix chick. A loud roar is heard, and the arena where the guy is located begins to be surrounded by a huge amount of fiery magma rising from the depths of the abyss. In a matter of seconds, he finds himself surrounded by molten rock, and the guy believes that for the sake of his mythical pet, he would even jump into a sea of fire. Xiao releases the phoenix guiding feather. Fortunately, the fire spirit crystal gives him 95% fire resistance. Otherwise, he would have turned into a roast pig. With the thought of having to hurry, the young man begins to run quickly across the surface of the molten magma, following the glowing feather of the phoenix that points the way to the egg. After some time, he reaches a huge bowl containing a fiery egg. Xiao is amazed by this sight and realizes that this is indeed the egg of a phoenix, a true immortal being of divine power level. The boy tries to pull it out of the bowl, while the toad asks how he is going to hatch such an egg. Suddenly, the boy stops, as he hears a loud, menacing voice asking who dared to invade the sanctuary of the fire god and steal his treasure from the temple. A powerful beam of divine power hits Xiao in the back, and the boy feels an unbearable heat penetrating the protection of the shield and burning his body. The protective shield is almost destroyed by the attack, and a giant hand emerges from the molten magma. She rises higher and higher from the magma. The toad begins to scream hysterically, asking what the guy is waiting for, and orders him to immediately run away from here before it's too late. Xiao immediately runs away. The toad asks why he always goes to such dangerous places to steal eggs instead of safer locations. He quickly reaches the fire phoenix, and the giant bird is very surprised because the guy actually managed to reach the egg alive. Phoenix asks how a mere level 40 mortal could get through such a terrifying lava that kills any living creature without divine protection. In response, Xiao replies that there is nothing difficult about it, and thinks that stealing eggs is not the first time for him. A powerful column of fire falls from the sky. The voice of Hephaestus calls Xiao a pathetic mortal who destroyed the statue and touched the phoenix egg without permission. Everything around is engulfed in fire. The phoenix orders them to leave. Hephaestus will come soon, and the young man alone, even with a shield, will not be able to cope with the god of fire. Phoenix says that there is a way to save himself, but a mortal is too weak for it, and an ordinary person cannot cope. Even the strongest of men could not remove his seals and survive such a dangerous attempt. Xiao insistently asks for an explanation of the method. The phoenix points to 2 black seals that restrict his strength and freedom of flight. The seals can only be removed simultaneously, but no mere mortal has ever succeeded in doing so without the help of a deity. Xiao smiles and shows off the magical artifact, asking if even with it, both seals can't be removed at once. Phoenix is amazed that the boy has a divine artifact, but one item is not enough. 2 artifacts of equal power are needed. In response, Xiao displays the cooling stone, realizing that this way he will be able to use God's destructive power twice at once. A loud voice echoes throughout space, announcing that the god of fire is about to descend here and tells the insignificant man to prepare to meet his righteous wrath. The guy believes that he has no other choice and will have to take a risk, since there is nowhere to retreat and nothing to lose. He absolutely does not want this arrogant old crick to achieve his goal and get satisfaction from humiliating a mere mortal. Another pillar of fire strikes from the sky. The guy jumps back at the last moment, decisively activating the artifact, which emits a cold, bluish glow. After a moment, the seal begins to vibrate strongly, producing high-frequency sounds, after which it breaks into many small fragments with a crackling sound. Phoenix is greatly surprised by the fact that a mere mortal would dare to commit such a daring act, challenging an ancient divine being. A huge human silhouette appears in the darkness, and in a loud voice he utters a single word in surprise, addressed to the uninvited guest, man. Xiao instantly froze in place, as if petrified by surprise, and slowly turned towards the giant creature towering over him. Next to him is the fire god Hephaestus, who tells the guy that he will now sacrifice his miserable human life. The young man stands frozen in amazement, gazing up at the majestic god, amazed by his colossal size. Hephaestus loudly and powerfully declares that he has descended from heaven to insignificant mortals, and orders them to immediately kneel before him in sign of submission. At this moment, Phoenix gathers all his remaining strength and suddenly rushes forward, breaking the magical shackles that bind him. He breaks his huge, heavy chains, flies swiftly up to Hephaestus, and with barely concealed triumph, tells him that he has come just in time. Hephaestus loudly and incredulously asks how this is even possible, and how Phoenix managed to break such a powerful magical seal created by the deity himself. A fierce flame of hatred flares in the eyes of the giant firebird. It calls Hephaestus a vile, vile false god, and says that the time has come to pay for the sins committed. Phoenix furiously declares that only the filthy, cursed blood of the mystical creature can finally wash away the humiliation and shame inflicted on him. The toad, in a voice trembling with fear, tells the boy that this is absolutely not a fight they can safely interfere with, and begs him to hide quickly. Hephaestus does not believe that Phoenix, after many centuries of imprisonment, has any strength left for serious resistance, and raises his huge hammer to strike. Phoenix, in turn, resolutely rushes into battle, declaring that the pathetic false god will now pay with blood for the spilled blood and get what he deserves. Hephaestus delivers a powerful blow with his hammer, which shakes the entire surrounding area, but Phoenix deftly dodges the fatal blow using his speed. The force of the blow is so incredibly great that the resulting shockwave throws the young man high into the air, like a weightless splinter. The guy instantly activates his money protective shield, fully understanding that otherwise he simply won't survive in this confrontation of the gods. At this moment, Phoenix delivers a powerful blow with his fiery wing, which cuts Hephaestus's arm. The giant firebird continues its furious attack, and would love to see Hephaestus melt alive in his own flames. Phoenix loudly accuses Hephaestus of base betrayal, reminding him that he dared to challenge a true deity and break ancient oaths. He quickly approaches Hephaestus and delivers another powerful cleaving blow with his clawed fiery paw, aiming for a vulnerable spot. Hephaestus screams loudly in despair that this simply cannot be, and that such an outcome is impossible, after which he falls to the ground with a deafening crash. The guy was genuinely impressed by the fact that this immortal divine Phoenix was incredibly cruel and easily tore apart the powerful fire god. The blood of the defeated divine being will allow the legendary Phoenix to be reborn in the sacred flame and restore its lost power. The toad quietly and carefully whispers to Yahello that, having bathed in the blood of the slain god, the Phoenix quickly restores its original strength, after which the toad fearfully announces that this creature is too dangerous, and insistently suggests that they get out of here immediately, because they no longer need this Phoenix egg. However, the young man does not have time to take a single step towards the exit, as he suddenly hears the commanding voice of a huge bird, which asks the man to come closer to it. The guy starts to smile nervously and quickly says that this is all an unfortunate misunderstanding, and he will definitely return the stolen Phoenix egg safe and sound. The bird curiously asks what kind of misunderstanding the guy is talking about, explaining that she just wants to sincerely thank him for his invaluable help. A small golden sphere suddenly appears next to Yahello. Phoenix explains that these are 2 drops of the false god's blood, his priceless gift. The great fire god Hephaestus has existed on the lost continent for tens of thousands of years, and his ancient blood is saturated with pure divine power. The boy sheepishly states that he is embarrassed to accept such a generous and valuable gift, to which the toad sarcastically and mockingly remarks that this does not seem at all true. Phoenix explains that this divine blood will certainly help the boy successfully hatch his little cub from its strong shell. The baby Phoenix hasn't hatched yet, and Yahello must figure out a way to help it emerge safely. The divine firebird is sincerely grateful to the boy for his invaluable help in liberating him, but informs him that this ancient place will soon be completely destroyed. The news of the fall of the mighty Hephaestus will soon spread throughout the world. Phoenix relies on Yahello, so the bird insists on leaving immediately. The guy decisively declares that they must first take the trophies from the battlefield, and picks up the massive staff of Hephaestus. Heavy stone blocks fall from the temple vault with a roar. Phoenix alarmedly warns that there is no time left. It is time to leave immediately. The ground beneath our feet shakes violently. Huge fragments of columns fall everywhere, and bubbling, burning magma rapidly spreads around. Powerful, blinding bolts of lightning pierce the night sky, followed by the materialization of angry divine beings, drawn by the fall of Hephaestus. In a loud voice, the resurrected Hephaestus furiously declares that he has lost one of his precious incarnations in this world. The demon nearby is perplexed. Hephaestus screams that he has lost the incarnation that guarded the immortal Phoenix. The demon is indignant, because the Phoenix was a key link in their centuries-old plan. The magical creatures learn of the complete destruction of the ancient world and accuse Hephaestus of irresponsibility, considering him guilty and unworthy of mercy for the failure he committed. One of the senior demons commanded everyone to immediately shut up and stop the pointless argument, demanding that they focus on the matter at hand. After years of absorbing energy, it is now necessary to find the true source of the problem and eliminate it as soon as possible. The huge demon orders not to waste a minute, and for everyone to immediately prepare for the impending invasion. Dolores stands tensely at the portal that leads to the crumbling fire temple, looking anxiously at the shimmering passage. The girl realizes that the temple is about to collapse completely, and wonders if this reckless guy really died there ingloriously. However, a moment later, a brightly glowing magical portal appears in the dark sky, and Xiao suddenly appears in it along with a majestic phoenix. Dolores is relieved to call the young man a nasty bastard, and is very glad that he is still alive and well. She instantly turns her attention to the immortal divine phoenix hovering in the air. In a quiet, astonished voice, the girl again calls Xiao a brat, and asks in bewilderment how he managed to contact a powerful being of such a high level. At this moment, the phoenix folds its fiery wings and concentrates powerful magical energy around itself, causing a blindingly bright aura to flare up around it, after which it suddenly collapses with a loud sound, throwing out powerful streams of pure energy into the surrounding space. The phoenix begins to rapidly disappear into the night sky and, in parting, asks the mortal to take care of its precious offspring and hopes that they will meet again. Dolores continues to be surprised by what happened, and curiously asks the young man what exactly he did in the temple this time. She praises the guy for not only escaping the dangerous fire temple alive, but also for managing to take the priceless phoenix egg with him. The guy smugly announces that this is not all of his achievements, and begins to demonstrate 2 drops of the rarest divine blood. The girl suddenly falls silent mid-sentence and begins to stare, mesmerized, at the brightly shining golden sphere in his hands. System messages are coming in that the guy has been washed in the blood of a deity and has received divine fire, and in addition, the hidden potential of the profession called God of Wealth has been revealed. The toad sincerely congratulates the guy on his advancement in the profession of wealth, and joyfully reports that thanks to this, she herself has become significantly stronger. Profession skills have been greatly enhanced. Daily wealth flow now provides 2% gold, and the Beast Mastery utility skill has been significantly improved. If a royal-level pet is developed to the absolute limit with this talent, it will be able to successfully evolve into a legendary mythical beast. At this moment, the huge phoenix egg begins to vibrate strongly and make strange sounds, attracting attention. The guy notices this with surprise and excitedly asks the girl if it is really moving and is about to hatch right now. A system message arrives stating that there are exactly 71 hours and 59 minutes left until the hatching of the precious pet. Xiao rightly believes that it seems that his advancement and strengthening of divinity has greatly accelerated the natural hatching process of the phoenix egg. Dolores calls the guy a brat and asks with a grin if he wants to go on another adventure, to which Xiao resolutely replies that he will never return to that damn temple again. The young people then activate the spell and teleport to the main city of Feng, leaving the crumbling temple behind. The man's irritated voice rudely orders him to leave and threatens him with violence if he is bothered with intrusive questions again. Xiao enters the workshop and wonders with bewilderment, what is that strange noise coming from inside the room? He notices with undisguised surprise that the mayor of the city is in the workshop, animatedly talking with a stubborn gnome about something important. The guy asks in surprise what the respected man is doing here at such a time, and with amazement notices his very strange, ridiculous outfit. He persistently wants to know what is going on here and what is going on, to which the mayor evasively replies that you can't just tell and explain everything. The assistant begins to tell the guy that the mayor has his own good reasons for all of this, and it is all solely for the sake of the successful restoration of the destroyed city of Feng. Ever since Xiao brought the gnomes to the city, the mayor has been trying his best to persuade them to help with the restoration. But these creatures have proven to be peculiar and ignore his requests. After which, he continues to tell that the mayor had completely despaired of his attempts and decided to meet him halfway, having learned from someone that the gnomes were very fond of rice. Xiao finds the logic of what is happening absurd and is perplexed how the mayor could have come to such a ridiculous decision on his own. The guy politely asks to tell the mayor to quickly change back into normal clothes, because he himself will deal with the stubborn gnomes. Xiao begins to feel a little nervous about the upcoming conversation, and silently calls the gnomes incredibly stubborn and wayward creatures with whom it is difficult to negotiate. Thor curses loudly with choice words, and rudely asks what the man here wants from them, after which he threatens to beat him with a hammer if he shows up again. The guy loudly greets the dwarf and calls him by name, to which Thor unexpectedly recognizes Xiao, and admits that he is very glad to meet him, and that the guy returned so quickly. Thor asks if the young man found the legendary fire temple during his journey. Xiao proudly replies that of course he did, and what's more, he even managed to enter it. The dwarf wonders if the boy will now be able to take them home. But Yahello regretfully admits that this is not possible. Thor asks in bewilderment why this is impossible. The guy replies with regret that the temple is already completely destroyed, and he only managed to take this ancient staff. The dwarf declares that since the boy holds the sacred staff of the god of fire, it means that he is his true messenger, and asks him to lead their people and show them the right path. The guy agrees to take on this responsibility, but puts forward the condition that they must unquestioningly follow his directions and orders. He politely asks the dwarves to stay in the main city of Feng for a while, and help rebuild its destroyed buildings and fortifications. The dwarves carry out the messenger's instructions without objection, and Thor enthusiastically undertakes to convey this news to the rest of his fellow tribesmen. Meanwhile, the mayor in the next room is thoughtfully examining his strange, ridiculous outfit, trying to figure out what went wrong. The man naively believes that if he dresses up as a rice cake this time, he will definitely be able to win the favor of the capricious gnomes. At this moment, the manager hurriedly entered the office and excitedly announced that the senior dwarf had already left with Mr. Yahello. The mayor is shocked by the unexpected news and, at a loss, demands an explanation from his subordinate about how and where he went. The subordinate begins to tell that the dwarves have set out to rebuild the city, and the man joyfully believes that his persistent efforts must have finally touched their hearts. However, the clerk corrects him and explains that in fact it was Mr. Yahello who somehow managed to convince the stubborn gnomes to help the city. The mayor is sadly envious. The clerk admits that he doesn't know the details, because Yahello said a few words, and the gnomes immediately agreed to everything. The man asks why the mayor chose such a humiliating costume, inappropriate for his status, to which he replies with bitter irony that he will join the city circus as a clown. The dissatisfied voice of the royal envoy is heard, complaining that Lord Yahello has become too arrogant and disrespectful to the royal court. The royal envoys arrived on the prince's personal behalf to present him with an honorary title, but he is nowhere to be found, and they are unable to carry out their important mission. The messenger knows about the prince's feelings for the girl, and is confident that if he says a kind word to her, the issue will be resolved quickly and satisfactorily. The girl asks the messengers to return and tell the prince to quickly abandon these stupid romantic thoughts about her. Suddenly, Yahello enters the room, his unexpected appearance immediately attracting the attention of everyone present. Shirel feels a strong, genuine joy at his long-awaited appearance and says with relief that he is finally back safely. Yahello greets the girl warmly and hopes that he is not too late for an important meeting. The messenger mockingly remarks that the guy turned out to be arrogant and only now deigned to appear after a long wait. The man says contemptuously that he thought the guy was worthy, but he turned out to be a pathetic coward, unworthy even of being in the shadow of a noble prince. Shirel sharply demands that the envoy not be rude to the guest. Yahello calmly declares that he is in a bad mood and wants to kill someone for fun. The messenger considers these to be cheap, worthless words, and arrogantly asks if the guy understands that just for this impudent conversation he could be destroyed. The messenger arrogantly begins to ask the guy whether he realizes who he is dealing with and who he represents. But before he can finish, Yahello suddenly delivers a crushing blow. The guy smiles and mockingly apologizes, saying that he thinks he went a little overboard with the force of the blow. After which he calmly asks the people gathered in the room if any of them have any objections to his actions. The men fearfully declare that it was entirely just and noble, and respectfully ask to be allowed to express their deep respect to the strong warrior. The guy asks if they can finally award him the promised noble title. Yahello thinks that words are superfluous when everything can be settled with fists. Massive reports are coming in that player Night Hunter has received the prestigious title of Viscount of the Empire, and in honor of this, everyone's game time has been increased by 2 additional hours. Players are overjoyed by the news, as the guy has unlocked an important property system, meaning he can start building a team soon. Shirel happily reports that the dwarves are actively rebuilding the city, and now many wealthy merchants are offering high prices for its commercial properties. Numerous players from all over the city excitedly run up to the guy. Many of them have collected a sufficient amount of gold coins and are ready to make a profitable deal right now. They begin to place bets with reckless abandon, outbidding each other and raising the price, with the best offer gradually reaching 90 million gold coins. The guy asks not to worry and assures that he will definitely be able to sell commercial real estate to anyone who wants it. But there is one small detail. Yahello pauses briefly to observe the crowd's reaction, then announces that all buyers will have to pay a significant surcharge on top of the stated amount. Buyers readily agree to this condition as well, saying that no matter how much gold they have to add, they still really want to buy promising commercial real estate. The guy watches silently and with satisfaction as excited buyers compete to offer their improved conditions. At this moment, the effect of the cash flow skill is automatically activated, and the amount of incoming gold coins increases many times over. The entire gaming forum is flooded with enthusiastic messages about the guy. Many players rightly consider him invincible and an amazing entrepreneur. As expected, the news of the Dwarven settlement in Feng City quickly spread throughout the game world and attracted the attention of many people. Suddenly, the guy learns from his informants that many suspicious foreigners have appeared in the city, and some of them look very dangerous and threatening. Xiao thoughtfully approaches the window of his house and thinks with anxiety that these people probably came specifically for him. But they are all completely unaware of the fact that something truly grandiose will happen tonight and change the balance of power in the game. In the dark night sky, bright, powerful lightning suddenly flashes, illuminating the majestic castle on the hill above the city with its cold light. The players are amazed and shocked just now. While fighting with ordinary monsters, they were suddenly thrown out of the game. They feel a strange, unknown force in their body. Xiao realizes that the moment has come for virtual games to merge with reality. Messages begin to arrive requiring the immediate selection of one skill to bring into the real world. Xiao chose the money shield without hesitation, and at the same time, his body was enveloped in a brightly shining aura, a clear sign of the game ability being activated. As expected, players who have reached level 10 have gained the ability to extract skills, and their in-game stats are now transferred into reality. The guy begins to easily jump from one rooftop to another, thinking that now it's time to settle old scores with someone. He jumps off the side of a large building and lands dramatically on the sidewalk, before quietly but clearly announcing that the massacre has officially begun. Passers-by talk worriedly among themselves, assuming that this damn apocalypse really has crossed over from the game into the real world. A group of young people excitedly discuss how an unknown, enormous force is filling their bodies. One of them decisively declares that tomorrow he will finish off the boss with just a couple of blows. Another guy is rushing down the street at an incredible, inhuman speed, happily thinking that with such speed he will be able to deliver 1,000 orders a day. Some players successfully mastered the art of invisibility, while others suddenly gained the dangerous ability to control fire. The action moves to the territory of a huge luxurious villa, which belongs to the powerful corporation E. Xiao suddenly stops abruptly and clearly realizes that this is the very place he was looking for. He is immediately surrounded by a rather noisy group of local hooligans, one of whom smirks and declares that finally someone has fallen for their hook, and that today they will definitely get rich. The young man defiantly shows off his knife and rudely orders Xiao to quickly hand over everything of value he has on him. Otherwise his legs will be broken immediately. The second bully pompously declares that he is already level 11 in the Apocalypse game, and if Xiao tries to resist, it will be worse for him. Xiao sighs heavily and tiredly, and thinks sadly about how many idiots there are still in this world. The gang leader starts loudly asking the guy if he's tired of living at all. At that very moment, Xiao suddenly grabs him by the throat with a steel grip. Another bandit screams in rage at how this guy dared to touch his brother and threatens to tear Xiao into pieces. The next second, Xiao delivers a lightning-fast kick that knocks the bully off his feet and sends him flying. After a while, all the aggressive bullies are lying in a pile unconscious. Xiao contemptuously tells them that he didn't even expect them to be such weaklings. Energetic club music continues to play on the dance floor, and the entire space around is filled with bright, blinding light. The young people believe they are witnessing a truly historic moment, as all the enormous investments their corporation has made into the game have finally paid off. At that moment, a stranger appears in the room with a roar, and with a powerful kick, he instantly knocks down the massive doors. The young people instantly fall silent and wonder in amazement who dared to burst in here. The masked man says that, with the exception of a few old men, all the necessary people have gathered here, and that this is even better, because they won't have to run around and look for each one individually. The future leader of the powerful E-Corporation asks with disdain who this is, and why this ragamuffin even dared to cause trouble here. Yelen asks the guy with disdain what kind of stupid mask he put on himself. In response, Xiao asks him if he doesn't recognize his voice. The people around immediately recognize Xiao, and a surprised question comes from the crowd, asking if he died in that car accident. Yelen mockingly asks the guy what he's doing here. Is he tired of hanging out with his idiotic girlfriend, or did he come here to beg from his older brother? Xiao gives him a hard look and calmly says that he came here to find out something important. The guy asks directly whether the accident that killed his parents 10 years ago was their doing. Yelen angrily calls Xiao a worm. His friend tries to persuade Yelen to shut up because he is drunk and can't say such things. Yesiao gives him a quick poke in the ear and quietly tells him that when he asks a question, it's best not to interrupt him. After which the guy suddenly takes on a demonic appearance and orders him to immediately tell him the whole truth. The people around are shocked by what is happening because they just saw Yesiao kill a man with one finger. Some guests begin to whisper among themselves and speculate that this is the same Night Hunter from the game Apocalypse. Yesiao hears their whispers, slowly turns to the crowd and dryly remarks that the young people seem to have some common sense. Yelen irritably believes that the guys have completely lost their minds, because this is not the Night Hunter, but just a person with a similar name. He approaches Yesiao and with a cheeky grin tells the guy that 10 years ago it was he who caused that very accident. After which he smiles cheekily and asks Yesiao what he can do now. Yesiao's eyes light up with a furious fire, and he declares to the guy that he really is a complete scumbag. Yelen starts laughing loudly and joyfully, mockingly asking the young man, "So what?" Yelen declares that he will send Yesiao to his parents today, and loudly announces to the assembled crowd that whoever finishes off this idiot will receive dark gold equipment. The guy shouts loudly at those present and demands that they immediately kill Yesiao. In response, Yesiao calmly states that they still don't have the courage to attack him. With a sharp movement, he grabs Yelen's finger and immediately begins to perform a painful hold. Yesiao continues to break his arm and tells the guy not to worry, because he will not die quickly, since Yesiao is going to break each of his bones one by one. The distinct sound of broken bones can be heard, and the room is filled with Yelen's eerie scream. After which the guy grabs Yelen by the head and sharply throws him back. He delivers the next kick to the shoulder, the terrible sound of breaking bones filling the air again. Yelen experiences unbearable pain and tells the guy in a hoarse voice that he cannot kill him, to which Yesiao says that the guy will now go to the afterlife and apologize there. After which he delivers a precise fatal kick to the head, leaving the surrounding people frozen in shock and amazement. Some of those present begin to loudly express indignation, declaring that Yelen was a scumbag worse than a dog, because his uncle was a good man, and the guy killed him. The others begin to support Yesiao in unison, furiously declaring that they had not liked Yelen for a long time, and if they had known about what happened, they would have been the first to finish him off, avenging their uncle. Yesiao turns angrily to them and orders them to stop their comedic act, then coldly declares that none of them will be leaving today. The guy screams loudly that they will all die, after which he rushes into the attack and begins to deliver crushingly powerful blows left and right. The young people began to run in terror in different directions, desperately shouting that only Yelen was to blame, and that they had nothing to do with it. Loud, terrified cries for help echo throughout the nighttime neighborhood, with young people screaming that they are being killed. Yesiao wipes the blood from his face and thinks with cold calm that the revenge that has dragged on for 10 years and spanned 2 lifetimes has finally been fully accomplished today. He slowly walks out of the huge conference room, leaving behind a blood-soaked floor and dozens of bodies of destroyed ill-wishers. A deafeningly loud bang is heard, the sound of which instantly spreads throughout the entire night district. The young man declares that his strength has now become simply incredible, and he is immensely fond of the game Apocalypse. His comrade warmly supports him and confidently says that with their current characteristics, each of them can easily deal with an entire armed detachment alone. One of the guys notes that it's too early to rejoice, since the Night Hunter has already reached level 40. But the others confidently answer that they are not afraid, since there are 5 of them, and he is only one. The next moment, a blow of colossal force suddenly destroys the stone wall of the mansion. In the resulting gap, the figure of Yesiao appears, casting a cold and determined gaze at those present. He calmly informs the surprised young people that they shouldn't wait, because he is already here, right in front of them. Yesiao's eyes suddenly fill with an angry fire. He loudly announces that now everyone will experience for themselves what the new reality is. The guy begins to deal crushing blows and tells the young people that if they have any questions left, they will only get answers in hell. Loud sounds of battle begin to be heard inside the mansion, and bright flashes of energy are seen illuminating the windows. 10 minutes later, Yesiao silently walks out into the street, leaving behind the mansion completely engulfed in flames. He immediately notices a group of robbers on the street who are smashing a store and are trying to escape in panic, as the police have already arrived at the scene. 5 minutes later, a large group of heavily armed police officers appears on this deserted street. They stop abruptly as they clearly hear the calm voice of a young man loudly declaring that he is not afraid of them at all. The police approach Yesiao, and he asks them directly who they are and why they have come. A young man emerges from the ranks of heavily armed fighters, politely greets Yesiao, and introduces himself as the Governor General of this county. He tells the guy that he came to him with a specific request, and respectfully asks if they can talk alone. But Yesiao immediately demands to speak directly and openly, without tricks. The Governor-General begins to describe in detail how the entire province is plunged into complete chaos and lawlessness. He sincerely hopes that Yesiao will agree to help him restore order and asks the guy what he thinks about it. The young man says that he doesn't mind helping, but puts forward one important condition for cooperation. The entire forum is filled with new posts about the great Night Hunter finally making his presence known and even officially confirming his game account. Luruyan carefully scrolls through the newsfeed and anxiously wonders if this is really Yesiao. The girl bitterly believes that her ex-boyfriend is to blame for everything, as he constantly turned her against Yesiao. Otherwise, everything could have turned out completely differently. She stubbornly hopes that Yesiao will turn out to be a real man, and will understand that her inattention was a minor oversight. The girl is going to find him. Meanwhile, the action moves to the virtual reality of the Apocalypse game, where a lively discussion of recent events reigns. Numerous players are buzzing about how the city has been in chaos recently, and it's a good thing Mr. Yesiao showed up and quickly restored order. Yesiao is pleased to think that he has finally returned to his favorite game. But Toad tugged at him and informed him that the players were actively discussing his personality and actions. The guy calmly replies that, having done the job, he always leaves without leaving a trace, since fame and honor are definitely not for him, and the Toad will never understand this. Yesiao enters the workshop and greets the gnome warmly. He explains in detail what the dwarf must do, and politely asks him to carefully study one complex drawing. Thor immediately recognizes the drawing as the Claw of the Divine Beastmaster, which is listed as a legendary epic piece of equipment. After some time, the dwarf states that if all the materials are available, after strengthening it will be possible to create a divine artifact as part of a complete set. After which, Yesiao takes out another blueprint from his inventory and declares that he has a diagram of the Divine Beastmaster's helmet. The guy asks the dwarf blacksmith how long it will take to make the entire set of equipment. The gnome scratches his head thoughtfully and, estimating the amount of work, says that it will take 3 days of work with his comrade. Yesiao happily declares that he will come pick up the order when the deadline expires, and the dwarf replies that he guarantees the quality of the work. After which the young man leaves the forge and heads to the office for the taming of mystical beasts in another part of the city. The male owner is overjoyed that Mr. Yesiao has graced his humble establishment with a visit, and helpfully asks how he can help. He carefully examines the toad on the boy's shoulder, and says with admiration that this animal looks extraordinary, and is filled with spiritual power. The toad does not like this statement, and boldly replies to the man that he himself is a tamed animal, as is his entire family. The man brings out a huge wooden box and declares that he has special spiritual pears for leveling up mystical beasts. At this moment, the huge phoenix egg begins to shine even brighter, emitting a warm golden light throughout the room. The little green dragon, sitting next to the box, devours the offered spiritual pears with great pleasure. Yesiao turns his attention to him and asks him with a smile to eat more slowly, as it is easy to choke and hurt yourself. The boy is very surprised when he notices that the green dragon's stats have increased very quickly after eating the pears. The dragon becomes noticeably larger in size and burps happily after eating pears. At this moment, Yesiao thinks that waiting for the divine phoenix to hatch and forge legendary items to be completed is too boring. He offers the dragon a little exercise and some experience, after which they move to the mysterious forest location, which is at difficulty level 50. The guy invites the green dragon to move forward and show him all his increased power. After a few minutes of active advancement, a large group of terrifying monsters appears on the horizon, blocking the way. The dragon lets out a loud battle cry, after which it unleashes a powerful red-hot stream of fire on the enemy. One of the giant monsters immediately falls to the ground after this crushing blow. Numerous system messages are coming in that a huge tree giant has been killed, and the small green dragon has increased its level by 1 point. Yesiao happily suggests going deeper into the dark forest and luring more monsters, then destroying them all at once. A huge number of players gather around the information board, greatly surprised by the incredible speed of Master Yesiao's leveling up. Players believe that the game's difficulty becomes prohibitive after level 40, as even top players' leveling speed has slowed. They argue grimly, suggesting that they will have to work for months without rest, since perhaps a player's entire lifetime will not be enough to reach level 100 and see legendary content. Another defeated giant monster falls to the ground with a deafening roar, raising a cloud of dust around it. Yesiao is very surprised by what is happening, because they destroyed a lot of monsters along with the boss, but there is still no increase to the next level. At this moment, the toad sitting on the boy's shoulder reminds him that the time for the phoenix egg to hatch has probably already come to an end. The guy agrees with this remark, and instantly summons a giant glowing phoenix egg from his inventory. The egg begins to shine even more with a blinding light and vibrate. Xiao catches himself thinking how exciting it is. There is a loud cracking sound, and the strong bright shell quickly begins to become covered with a network of many small cracks. A moment later, there is a loud bang and small fragments of shell fly in all directions. Following this, a bright blinding beam of energy of incredible power bursts out of the egg into the sky. Xiao watches in awe as a majestic young phoenix appears in the sky, spreading its wings. This is the same divine being that remained in the egg for hundreds of years and could not hatch into the light. After which, numerous information screens appear next to the guy, and he carefully studies the characteristics of the divine bird. The boy watches the graceful flight of the phoenix and realizes that this flame is burning the heavens. Xiao's mood lifts significantly, and he wonders what he should name his phoenix. At the fire temple, his father left him a name for the bird, but it was too heavy and difficult to pronounce. The guy asks the bird if she likes the name Sparkling, and from her reaction he understands that she has made a good choice. The phoenix nods its head in approval, and solemnly flaps its bright fiery wings. Xiao turns around sharply and realizes with alarm that the little green dragon is acting extremely strange and restless. The neighboring bushes are instantly covered in a thick cloud of eerie green poisonous fog, spreading across the clearing. A huge number of poisonous rats appear in front of them. These vile creatures spit poison and inflict long-term poison damage. The dragon takes to the air and instantly unleashes a powerful blast of flame on the rats, trying to hold back their advance. Xiao begins to quickly retreat back and orders the dragon not to fight, but to run away from here as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, the number of vicious poisonous rats is growing. They are crawling out of their holes from all sides. They continue to pursue the young man in a huge wave, and the guy is terrified that there are so many of them. The creatures have already gotten very close to Xiao, and he does not understand where so many of them have gathered from. Xiao realizes that he has no choice but to fight, so he asks the phoenix soaring in the sky to show what he is capable of. The sparkler soars high into the sky and unleashes a giant wall of fire on a crowd of poisonous rats. Horrible creatures instantly take massive damage to their vitality from the sacred flame. Their bodies instantly swell with heat, then explode in bright fiery blasts. The entire clearing turns out to be engulfed in flames, and numerous messages arrive that another poisonous rat has been destroyed and experience has been increased. The guy continues to watch the phoenix attack in fascination. It's a fantastic sight. As if someone had launched a grand fireworks display. A bright sphere of energy forms around the phoenix, which instantly disintegrates into millions of sparkling golden particles, after which they transform into a giant beam, raining down on the poisonous rats. A message comes that Xiao's level has increased to 42. Xiao is absolutely delighted and starts shouting with joy, saying that it is simply wonderful and amazing. Players standing at the information board in the city are amazed as the guy continues to raise his game level. The forum is filled with enthusiastic posts from fans amazed by the fact that Xiao has already reached level 47 in such a short time. However, the guy is dissatisfied with the result, because he destroyed all the poisonous rats within a 5-kilometer radius, and only rose 5 levels. The guy praises his faithful animals for their work and suggests continuing further, delving into more dangerous locations. They confidently head into the depths of the dark forest, and will try to rise to the coveted 50th level. From the dark forest thickets, another huge group of aggressive poisonous rats suddenly pounces on them. Xiao calls loudly to Phoenix and orders him to begin his fiery work. The Phoenix instantly soars high into the sky and directs a dense stream of fire towards the advancing monsters. A giant wave of fire, like a tsunami, sweeps away a huge number of rats, turning them into ashes in a matter of seconds. Phoenix rises to level 42 and adds 100% to its strength, becoming even more dangerous. There is only one step left until level 48. At this time, a system message arrives. The message comes from Feng City. The Dwarf Master says that the Beastmaster set is completely completed, after which Xiao tells his pets that they need to return to the city and see the Master at work. The guy activates teleportation to the city of Feng and quickly moves through the streets to a familiar workshop. He greets the dwarf warmly and eagerly asks if the promised Beast Tamer kit is ready. The gnome replies that everything is correct, after which he respectfully asks permission to provide him with a work of art. The boy carefully examines the glove and learns that during the manufacturing process, the gnomes discovered a hidden function in this equipment. When a player equips the Beastmaster's claw, their appearance can be completely hidden from prying eyes. The dwarf then hands over the next piece of armor, a skillfully forged Beastmaster helmet. After Xiao puts the helmet on his head, a message appears stating that his final damage and resistance to all enemy attributes is increased by 10%. The guy thinks that this bonus is simply monstrously powerful and gives a huge advantage, to which the toad sarcastically replies that the guy looks terribly ugly and funny in this helmet. He calmly answers the toad that the main thing in equipment is its practical use in battle, and besides, he can hide its appearance. Xiao thanks the dwarf master for his excellent work, then cites urgent matters and hurriedly bids farewell. A guy goes out onto a noisy street and listens to the conversations of passers-by. Many are saying that a strange incident happened in a neighboring town. The toad curiously asks what happened, offering to find out the news from friends. The guy thoughtfully answers that he remembered someone who might know the details. The man tells Dolores that she has a visitor, but the girl does not look up from her work and asks him to say that she is busy. Xiao suddenly appears next to Dolores, which greatly frightens her. He calls the girl sister and asks how she can ignore guests. Dolores calls the guy a brat and says that since he came, nothing good will happen. Xiao says that something serious happened in the neighboring city. The girl talks about a gray haze that can quickly engulf the entire city. Dolores has studied the records of the High Temple's chronicles, and the appearance of this infection is connected to one of the dark gods. The guy learns about another divine title and thinks with interest that this is interesting information. This evil god is responsible for the spread of plague and infection. He was not even accepted into the temple. He is so disgusting. The guy asks what his name is and how he can be found or stopped. Dolores asks if the guy is going to the neighboring town and immediately warns him not to get into this dangerous swamp. Xiao replies that wealth is hidden in risk. Xiao says that he feels calmer and more confident next to her. Dolores sternly orders him to stop talking and says that tomorrow morning they will set out after preparing the teleport. There are a lot of messages on the game forum about this fog being too fierce and resembling a biological weapon. After which, Xiao learns that something happened at the altar in the neighboring town, and a whole bunch of worried NPCs gathered there. The guy begins to think about what this evil god is really trying to achieve. The next day comes. Dolores tells the guy that he is just in time. In the neighboring city there is a portal from the High Temple. The girl raises her magic wand above her head, and the portal instantly activates, beginning to glow with a bright light. Xiao tries to joke, but the girl sternly orders him to stop chatting. The portal is too unstable and he needs to hurry. Xiao steps into the portal and extends his hand forward, then tells the neighboring city that he is coming to it. A moment later, the young people emerge on the other side of the spatial portal in a new location. They find themselves in a well-kept and beautiful suburb of a neighboring city, full of greenery and flowers. The guy is amazed by the beauty of the surroundings. Clean lakes, greenery everywhere. Everything looks amazingly picturesque. There is no indication that this area was attacked by the gray mist. Dolores calls out to the boy and asks him to look away, drawing his attention to something important. The girl says with alarm that the gray haze is spreading even faster than they initially thought. Xiao agrees with her observation. Dolores curiously asks where the young man is going next. The guy calmly replies that he is going to the city, and exploring the gray mist is her direct task. Dolores calls the guy a brat and indignantly declares that she will never go back to him. Xiao says goodbye to her and confidently approaches the glowing portal leading to the city. A moment later, the guy finds himself in the city of Shui and approaches its giant stone fortress walls. Coming closer, he is surprised, because a lot of worried people are leaving the city. Passers-by are outraged by what is happening. One of them just bought a house in the city and was about to settle down. And then this happened. One of the men says that everyone in his neighborhood died from the infection. Only one girl remains. The guy politely apologizes, asking who exactly he is talking about. The man rudely replies that he doesn't care, to which Xiao shows his badge and explains that he has been tasked with investigating the source of the gray haze. As soon as passers-by find out that the guy is a representative of the High Temple, they willingly talk about the girl, the miner's daughter. The guy asks the man where the girl is now and if it is possible to see her. Passers-by warn Xiao and tell her that she has been isolated by people from the church and is in the temple area. The boy thanks them for their advice, and the passers-by say goodbye and ask him to be careful, because if he is infected by the gray haze, even the best healers will not be able to save him from death. Quite quickly, the young man finds the right place on the map and heads purposefully towards the majestic building of the local church. The security guards on duty at the massive entrance to the church stop a strange guy and sternly ask who he is and what he needs there. Xiao confidently declares that he is a viscount of the Empire and has come to investigate the source of the gray haze on behalf of the authorities. The toad grumbles, calling him a master of lies and tricks. The guards, hearing that the guy is a viscount of the Empire, respectfully allow him to enter the church building without further questions or checks. A guard enters and informs the upset women that the viscount has arrived and that he will investigate the source of the gray mist. Yexiao bows politely to the woman and says that he would like to examine the girl for investigation. She takes him to his chambers and warns him that this disease is highly contagious and incurable. The guy asks if a protective magical shield against infection can help, but the woman replies that everything depends on the density of the fog. If the gray fog becomes too thick, a high-level shield is needed. But Yexiao confidently says that his wealth shield will reliably protect him, and even the thickest fog will not harm him. A young man enters the room. The girl, seeing him, runs away to the corner in fear. The girl lowers her eyes sadly and asks Yexiao not to come closer, quietly saying that she might infect him with the gray haze, and she does not want to harm him. The protective effect of the money account is instantly activated, and Yexiao declares with relief that nothing terrible has happened, and that the attack of the gray mist does not threaten him. After this, the boy curiously asks the girl if he can take a closer look at the glass bottle that she is holding tightly in her hands. It was originally an ordinary children's toy, but after it entered a unique source, this item became a special artifact with a protective effect. This is a truly rare item, and only this girl has it, which provides a powerful positive effect against dark magic. Yexiao asks the girl to remember where she found the mysterious bottle. After a short thought, she answers that it was at the Lake of Griffins, near a small cave on the outskirts of the city. Yexiao tells the girl with sincere gratitude that she really helped him a lot in this difficult matter. She modestly replies that she is not grateful, and she herself thanks him very much for finding the time to come and visit her. She hands him a bright, sparkling glass ball and tells him with a smile that it is a keepsake for him. For a girl who adores everything shiny and beautiful, there is nothing more precious than a magic glass ball, which has become her most secret treasure, which even her parents don't know about. The guy once again thanks her from the bottom of his heart, and promises to come visit her again when he finally sorts out the problem of the gray haze. As he leaves the house, the woman asks him anxiously if he has any leads or useful information, and the guy replies that he is heading to the Griffin Lake. The woman warns him that the place has already been completely taken over by a dangerous gray mist, but the guy calmly replies that he is going there to deal with this misfortune. A system message arrives stating that Yexiao has received another 20 points of favor for his good deeds and assistance. The closer Yexiao gets to the cursed Griffin Lake, the stronger and more dangerous the damage dealt to him by the gray mist becomes. This lake is located in the north of the city, and in less than 5 kilometers from here the guy will already be there. After some time, he is surprised to notice people in the fog, and is very surprised that there is anyone here at all at such a dangerous time. The guy wonders if these people came here from the powerful Supreme Temple for some important mission. The warriors persistently persuade the girl to help them in their task, but Dolores categorically refuses to go with them further. They continue to persuade her, because only her sacred blessing gives them the necessary magical enhancement to fight the darkness. No one but her will agree to this dangerous task, and the warriors begin to bitterly realize that their mission is hopelessly failed. Yexiao calmly approaches a group of strangers and asks what they are doing in such a dangerous place. Dolores, with a sly smile, asks how he ended up here in the first place. The girl curiously asks the guy if he shouldn't be in the city now to gather important information about the gray haze. The guy replies that all the tracks and clues lead here, and he is going to go forward first, despite the danger. The warriors watch the self-confident Yexiao closely and think among themselves that his actions seem too arrogant and reckless. One of the warriors turns to Dolores and asks with concern what they should do now in this difficult situation. The girl resolutely suggests that everyone follow her, since they have gathered here anyway to carry out a mission. However, the warriors are not at all eager to continue their journey, to which Dolores coldly replies that if they do not want to, they can calmly stay here. Yexiao gets closer and closer to the cursed lake. He coughs loudly from the acrid poisonous fog, constantly receiving damage to his life bar. The damage from the gray haze has become significantly stronger and more dangerous, and this is a sure sign that the guy has almost reached his destination. Ahead lies the legendary Lake of Griffins, completely shrouded in a thick, poisonous gray fog that is slowly spreading across the surrounding area. The guy looks around with alarm at the huge number of rotting corpses of mystical creatures scattered everywhere, and with bitterness realizes that he is finally there. It seems he has indeed found the main source of the infection from which the deadly gray haze is spreading throughout the city and its surrounding areas. Surveying the gloomy surroundings of the lake, he soon notices a small, half-hidden entrance to a dark dungeon, almost invisible among the rocks. The boy instantly realizes that this is the very cave the girl was talking about, and begins to slowly descend into the cold darkness. He carefully and slowly moves along the winding corridors of the dungeon and is greatly surprised by the huge number of strange purple crystals, After a while, he notices a dim, ominous red glow coming from the depths ahead, and thinks that something is definitely wrong here. Yesiao sets out to investigate the source of the strange glow, and unexpectedly discovers a carefully hidden underground room behind a massive stone wall. Entering cautiously inside, he is amazed to notice a huge ancient altar and another giant stone statue of an unknown deity. The toad begins to cough violently and tearfully, breathing with difficulty, and hoarsely says that the air here is incredibly dirty and simply terrible. The guy continues to carefully examine the mysterious room and soon notices a brightly shining ancient bowl made of an unknown metal on the altar. He carefully picks it up and immediately tries to identify the artifact using his abilities, but this turns out to be unsuccessful. Suddenly, the entire room was permeated by a powerful magical vibration, from which the guy with great difficulty stood on his trembling legs, almost falling. The ancient statue's eyes suddenly glow with an ominous red light, and in a low, booming voice it asks the boy what kind of traveler he is and why he came here. After this, the statue solemnly asks the young man if he is ready to accept the dangerous trials of the spirit that await him ahead. A powerful energy vortex instantly appears in space, which with incredible force pulls the guy and the toad into its vortex. At great speed they helplessly rush through the pitch darkness and fall with force onto the hard, cold stone floor. Yesiao wonders in confusion where exactly they ended up. The guy quickly looks around and is surprised to realize that this is an ancient gladiator arena. The toad starts swearing loudly and says with irritation that the guy is always getting into some kind of dangerous troubles and scrapes. A loud, solemn voice is heard, which announces to the traveler who dares to enter the sacred arena that he must bravely accept its deadly trials. A giant muscular creature appears in the arena, menacingly declaring that this test will only end with the death of one of the opponents. A giant Lord-level wrestler with 5,000 points of strength and 1,000 points of agility materializes next to Yesiao. This powerful warrior belongs to the legendary category of enemies, and if a normal player accidentally encounters him, he can only run without looking back. Yesiao feels intense excitement and anxiety as he watches the giant threatening creature slowly advance towards him. However, he quickly pulls himself together and calls on his little green dragon to help them fight together, realizing the seriousness of the situation. The test turns out to be much more difficult and dangerous than all the previous ones. The green dragon instantly attacks the giant with a dense, red-hot stream of furious fire. The giant wrestler tries unsuccessfully to fight off the small opponent's agile attacks, as the green dragon is incredibly fast and agile in its movements. Yesiao, watching this spectacle from the side, smiles with satisfaction and pride, noticing that the dragon has already learned to use cunning combat techniques. He deftly maneuvers in the air, skillfully dodges the brute's powerful blows, and constantly spits out streams of fire, causing him significant and painful damage. The giant fighter throws his massive arms up to the sky in rage and begins to scream loudly and furiously, instantly becoming engulfed in a massive, pulsating aura of rage. The guy instantly understands that the enemy has fallen into a state of rage, and because of this, his physical defense against attacks has significantly increased. He intends to continue his furious attack and brings his mighty phoenix into mortal combat, hoping to turn the tide of the battle. The divine bird soars high above the arena and releases a powerful stream of divine fire from its sharp beak, which rushes downwards. A gigantic flame instantly overtakes the hulking giant, mercilessly falling upon him and causing him critical, fatal damage. He screams loudly in unbearable pain and agony, after which, with a deafening roar, he falls lifeless onto the stone floor of the arena. A system message arrives informing the player that they have successfully killed a dangerous Lord-level boss, and their loyal pet has risen to level 43. Valuable battle trophies appear, including a warhammer of valor made of rare dark gold, and a massive shield whose magical effect has not yet been identified. A huge, gloomy creature solemnly congratulates the foreign warrior on his convincing victory over a powerful enemy. It says in a low voice that the guy really managed to defeat the invincible fighter, but it is still too early to celebrate the victory and rejoice. Ahead of Yesiao lies the truly merciless cruelty of the arena and new deadly trials, after which the creature loudly orders that this impudent stranger be taught a lesson. The sound of heavy hooves is heard, a giant warrior appears, and the player receives a message that there is no escape. All that remains is to fight and die with dignity. Yesiao looks closely at the warrior, and involuntarily opens his mouth in surprise at her appearance. A creature with huge hooves slowly approaches the guy and angrily asks how he dared to kill her husband, declaring that he will pay for it with his life. The warrior extends her paw forward, and at that very moment a bright magical seal flashes in her hand. The guy realizes that she is trying to resurrect her husband, and immediately orders the pets to begin the attack. The pets instantly carry out the order and unleash powerful streams of fire on the warrior. The creature is engulfed in devouring flames, and she begins to scream loudly and shrilly. The guy didn't expect to be able to destroy such a serious opponent with one blow, but not a single prize fell out of it. The boy sighs in frustration and tells his loyal pets that they should continue moving forward through the testing arena. However, he suddenly hears a loud booming voice informing him that giants are immortal and cannot be killed. The monster irritably asks where his warhammer went. Yesiao cursed loudly. He did not expect such a turn of events at all, because the giant was able to resurrect after death and attack him again. The giant screams in rage that the boy killed his wife, promising to destroy him for this act. Yesiao angrily asks how much longer this can be tolerated, and how much longer they can fight the same enemies, and orders the pets to tear the annoying giant into small pieces. A huge, red-hot stream of flame instantly engulfs the giant's massive body from all sides, and the monster falls with a crash onto the hard ground of the arena again. New trophies appear, a dagger of swiftness made of an unknown metal and light armor made of rare dark gold. The guy rejoices, feeling their legendary status. The being who observed the duel tells the foreign warrior that his strength and will are truly connected to the Holy Spirit, opening the way for him to spiritual ascension. A loud voice calls out to the spirit of the apocalypse, its powerful vibrations causing the ground in the arena to tremble, creating an unsettling atmosphere. Every movement and sound increases the tension. The boy understands that forces are being revealed before him that can change the outcome of the entire duel and test. A strange creature slowly emerges from underground, its shape and movements causing alarm and surprise. A few seconds later, a giant pedestal appears next to the young man, on which stands a powerful warrior. The guy looks at it carefully and notices a strange glowing object at the base of the pedestal. Yesiao takes it in his hands, examines it carefully, and wonders if this is also a divine artifact. A loud voice of a creature is heard in the air, ordering that this object be immediately put back in place. The warrior informs that the stranger has no right to take it into his hands, and Yesiao is instantly enveloped in a gray mist. The green dragon reacts angrily to the alien and immediately attacks. Yesiao watches his pet's strange reaction and wonders what happened to him. Meanwhile, Dracosha flies above the arena and begins generating powerful acoustic waves. The vibration is so strong that it instantly shatters the huge warrior statue into tiny pieces. Yesiao freezes in place as the gray mist begins to quickly concentrate around him. A loud bang is heard, and the gray mist turns into the dark shadow of a green dragon. Yesiao carefully studies the combat stats of his new opponent, and is alarmed to realize that they are identical to those of his own loyal pet. The dragon contemptuously calls the boy an insignificant stranger, who, nevertheless, surprised him with his abilities, and promises to generously give him a quick death. The damage from the gray dragon's furious attack begins to rapidly increase with each second of the fight, and Yesiao urgently calls upon his green dragon for support. Every second, the boy takes 400 points of health damage from magical attacks, and desperately asks the little one to seal the gray dragon's dangerous ability as quickly as possible. The baby quickly rises high above the arena into the air, and releases another powerful sound wave aimed at the enemy. The gray dragon grins viciously and orders the mortal to tremble, claiming that all his trump cards before him are worthless. After this, the gray dragon performs manipulations and deprives Yesiao's pet of magic. The guy considers the gray dragon to be an ancient creature, since it is very similar to the image from old frescoes, and calls upon the phoenix. The gray dragon was very surprised. He never expected that the guy had a second pet. Yesiao asks his opponent why he is so quiet, and then orders Phoenix to beat him to death. The divine bird flies up above the arena, and a brightly shining energy sphere flares up above its head. The gray dragon is instantly struck by a powerful stream of divine fire. The next second, a small green dragon joins the attack, quickly penetrating the enemy's defense and delivering a devastating blow. With a powerful wing sweep, the dragon cuts its enemy in two, demonstrating incredible strength and agility in combat. The creature loudly curses, calling the guy a worthless human who dared to insult him, and declares that they will return soon. Yesiao looks closely at the remains of the monster falling to the ground. His voice is heard threateningly informing that they will return. An unknown being thanks a brave warrior from another world for the expulsion and liberation of the holy arena. Brightly shining crystals appear next to the guy, and a voice announces that he will soon meet the Holy Spirit and gain the right to the path of ascension. Crystals serve as the key and guide of the Holy Spirit, and whoever conquers the holy arena is worthy of a reward. But the Holy Spirits are lost in the river of time, and only luck will help. A hidden quest called Search for the Lost Holy Spirits appears, after which teleportation is immediately activated. The warriors tell the girl that the gray fog has become even more frightening and denser, and at this time she thinks about what that boy is doing there. The warrior believes that Yesiao has poisoned himself to death, but Dolores asks him if he is joking, since the guy's life is stronger than that of a cockroach. Suddenly they notice that the gray fog surrounding them is beginning to thin. At that moment, a bright light flashes and Yesiao appears from the portal. Dolores calls the guy a bastard and happily says that she knew he wasn't dead. She begins to ask with interest what he did, because the fog began to thin. The guy says that there was a statue of a deity inside. He broke it, and the fog cleared, which causes strong emotions in the girl. Yesiao says that no matter what, he has eliminated the source of the gray haze, and asks how his sister plans to thank him. The guy adds that he essentially helped the High Temple, and asks if there will be a commission, a bonus, or at least a book of advanced skills. Dolores replies that the guy is again trying to profit from someone else's misfortune, but agrees and suggests talking later when he returns to the city and reports on the operation. The plot moves to the northern province, to the city of Shui, where a man happily shares the news with everyone that the gray haze has finally disappeared. The city's residents listen to his words with relief, realizing that life in their area will now once again be safe and calm. In a dark temple, the dragon is very upset that the guy has acquired dense divine energy. The huge black dragon statue believes that if it can absorb this divine power, it will definitely be able to break its shackles, and this makes it feel very excited. The giant statue begins to develop small cracks and slowly crumble. The next second, it breaks into small pieces, and a huge black dragon flies out of it. The dragon loudly declares that it is time for him to stretch his legs, and the ghost nearby asks if he is really going to turn his back on his duties. The dragon replies that he is as stupid as Hephaestus, and the world will sooner or later perish because of them. The Holy Spirit Arena has already been liberated, and this time the black dragon will appear in its true form to return everything to its place. The ghost responds by warning that there should be no mistakes, otherwise he will deprive the black dragon of his divinity. The dragon takes off into the night sky, determined to devour this unknown man, break his chains, and make him pay for his insolence. Meanwhile, Yesiao is at the residence of the mayor of Shui City. The woman asks to be allowed to express her deepest respects. The guy asks how the girl is feeling. The woman replies that she is fine. Not only she, but also everyone infected with the gray haze recovered very quickly. A man enters the office, wanting to see the great hero who destroyed the source of the gray mist. The woman standing next to him tells the guy that the mayor of this city is in front of him. Yesiao receives a message that he has received another 25 points of favor, as well as the title of Friend of Shui City. Dolores appears next to them. The girl explains that the current incident with the gray haze is directly connected with the gods. The guy confirms her words, but adds that he still hasn't figured out a lot of things and can't say for sure. The man hands Yesiao a personal communication token and tells him that if the boy ever needs help, he shouldn't hesitate to reach out. The guy accepts the gift and sincerely thanks the mayor for such a valuable gesture. To become the mayor of a city, you need to be at least the strongest level 100, and such a connection is truly valuable. The man says that there are still many problems in the city, so he has to take his leave and get down to business. Dolores states that she also needs to return to the High Temple with a report, and she will lead the guy through the teleportation array. A moment later, the young man finds himself in the city of Feng, amazed by the noise of the streets and the sight of ancient houses. In the old workshop, a dwarf greets him, and the guy asks him to help determine the value of one thing. The master carefully examines the cup that Yesiao took from the dungeon, and asks if this object is divine. To this, the master replies that the bowl looks like a large plate from which their gnomes usually eat. The master states that the plate emits a foul odor that he cannot stand, and that it may have been the odor that was holding back the artifact itself. He says that he will make her shine again now and swings a huge hammer. The guy asks to handle the item more easily, because it is a divine artifact. After the impact, the bowl begins to shine intensely. Its material turns out to be of the highest quality and absolutely indestructible. The item looks like a fruit bowl, but is actually designed to store special items. Yesiao carefully examines the artifact and wonders what exactly this plate is intended for. He learns from the master that this is a Saint Division level artifact, which is above the Calamity level, and that it can only be hidden until a suitable set of artifacts is found. Toad praises the young man for almost reaching level 50 and says that there will be another promotion test soon. He knows a place where he can level up faster and suggests that the green dragon visit this place as soon as possible. They find themselves in a vast stone wasteland filled with a gigantic number of scorpions crawling on the hot rocks and sand. Toad asks with horror if the guy really came to farm in a location above level 50. She says that if the guy is spotted by the level 50 poisonous desert scorpions, then it will inevitably be the end for them. Yexiao replies that this is nonsense and gives a command to the little green dragon. The baby quickly flies into the air and unleashes a powerful stream of fire on the enemy. In a moment, the entire valley is filled with blazing fire, engulfing everything around. The plasma concentration increases, followed by a powerful explosion that scatters the scorpions in different directions. Yexiao orders Phoenix not to delay and says that now it is his turn. At great speed, the divine bird soars into the sky, forming a brightly glowing aura around itself. The energy sphere around the bird begins to move and expand rapidly. After this, a giant stream of divine fire falls upon the scorpions. The entire wasteland valley turns out to be completely littered with the smoking, burning remains of destroyed monsters, scattered haphazardly across the scorched earth. Yexiao is overjoyed by the results and excitedly tells his pets that these massive attacks are simply amazing and incredible. Numerous system messages are coming in stating that his level has been raised to 50th, and his most important strength and agility stats have been increased by 80%. A new unique skill called the Eye of Wealth appears. It allows you to instantly learn all the detailed information about any enemy by spending your gold on it. The guy happily boasts to the little dragon that he is almost unaffected by any counter skills of his opponents, as befits a true master of the mythical class. Yexiao confidently believes that the preparations for the serious trials are finally complete, and the right time has come to go and undergo the dangerous trials of the spirit. The story moves again to the main city of Feng, where the streets are crowded with people, and the buildings are striking in their majestic architecture. Toad turns to the guy in surprise and asks why they are heading to the mayor's office, not understanding the reason for such a decision. The mayor asks the guy with surprise why he is going to the capital. The man reports that, unfortunately, the portal to the capital was destroyed during an anomalous invasion. However, after a short pause, he reveals that there are rumors that the Duchess has a secret portal. Yexiao thinks that this is very good, because he is well acquainted with the Duchess. The young man immediately heads to Sharel's residence. The Duchess greets the boy with genuine joy, noting that if he had been delayed any longer, she would have been forced to put him on the wanted list. Yexiao gallantly takes the girl's hand and kisses it with a slight bow, expressing sincere joy at the opportunity to see her again. The guy starts telling her that he needs to get to the capital as soon as possible, and Sharel immediately guesses that he intends to use her portal. She asks the young man to follow her, mentioning that the portal has not been used for a very long time and may be faulty. Sharel says that the last time she activated it was when she was still almost a child, and therefore she is not sure that it is capable of working now. The guy asks the girl to just try to start the device, and Sharel immediately and decisively pulls the massive lever. A huge magical seal begins to flash on the floor, its lines filling with a bright, blinding glow, filling the room with light. Yexiao thanks the girl, but she hurries him, warning that the portal is extremely unstable and will not be able to hold the passage for long. The guy says that he doesn't even know how to express his gratitude, and promises that he will definitely return immediately after the test is completed. A moment later, Yexiao finds himself near a massive fortress wall, next to which is the main entrance to the majestic castle. The entrance is guarded by two experienced level 80 warriors, who are discussing in surprise who he is and why he appeared so unexpectedly. The guards block his way, but Yexiao asks them not to worry, explaining that he came from the main city, and the lady activated the portal especially for him. These words were enough for the guards to apologize for their harshness and change their tone to a respectful one. They offer a military salute, but Yexiao asks to dispense with formalities and inquires where the Supreme Temple is located. The stern guards turn around and invite the young man to follow them towards the sacred place. One of the knights asks in amazement if he really decided to take the tests intended for warriors of level 50. There is only one path to the temple, and getting there usually requires a long and complicated procedure. But thanks to Yexiao's connections, they decide to take him directly. The temple soars majestically in the sky, striking Yexiao with its scale and architectural elegance, rising above the clouds like a symbol of divine power. Behind the gigantic structure is the World Tree, according to legend. If you climb its trunk to the very top, you can receive the blessing of the gods themselves. The massive doors of the temple gate slowly open, and a group of people in ceremonial attire approaches the boy. One of them, a respected elder, introduces himself and says that he is the 5th executor of the Supreme Temple, responsible for conducting the tests. He asks Yexiao what kind of test he intends to pass. The guy calmly answers that his goal is the Abyss level. The elder warns that the 50th level test is significantly more dangerous than all the previous ones, and who exactly awaits in the Abyss itself is unknown to anyone. To this, Yexiao replies that he has already made his decision, after which the elder wishes him luck and activates the spatial portal. At this time, a messenger hurries through the castle courtyard, informing his lord that urgent news has arrived that requires immediate attention. The man frowns and asks the knight what the news is and what is causing his subordinate to be so agitated. Upon hearing that Yahello, whom he had ordered to be followed, had arrived in the capital, the milord became furious and lost his composure. When he finds out that the guy showed up alone, he orders the personal guard to be called in, expressing extreme dissatisfaction with his unauthorized action. Milord vows to avenge the deaths of his men, but the knight wisely warns that Yahello is most likely in the High Temple. Besides, the guy already has a certain notoriety, and an open attack on him could lead to unpredictable consequences. Meanwhile, Yahello finds himself in a location called the Land of Trials, and finds the place strange, as there are no small monsters there at all. Suddenly, Yahello hears a deafening sound and sees a huge fireball falling from the sky, crashing into the ground with terrifying force. A moment later, a powerful collision occurs, and the roar of a gigantic explosion, shaking space, spreads throughout the area. A colossal creature lands on the ground, slowly rising and stretching, straightening its massive body. In front of him stands a black tiger, a rare level 50 creature known as the Master of the Borderlands and one of the most dangerous creatures. Even Yahello is genuinely surprised to realize that his first opponent was a lord-level being. The guy gives orders to his pets and decides to test the strength of this powerful creature, and, wanting to test his own strength, the green dragon quickly gains altitude and releases a powerful stream of fire at the black tiger, lighting up the sky with flames. The giant instantly loses almost 10,000 health points, and the roar of flames and peals of magical energy are heard all around. Fire strikes follow one after another. Yahello orders to fry the enemy thoroughly, without giving him a break. The tiger roars furiously, dodges another attack and rushes forward, trying to grab the green dragon, but it deftly moves aside. The dragon gains altitude again, after which it unleashes a powerful vibrational wave on the enemy, shaking the air and the ground. Then a giant flame engulfs the tiger's body. Yahello orders not to stop until the enemy falls completely. A moment later, the black tiger's enormous body falls to the ground with a crash, raising clouds of dust and sparks. Yahello, curious, comes closer to see what reward he will receive for such a dangerous fight. This time, the prize is a legendary level item, which the guy takes for himself without hesitation. After this, Yahello orders the green baby to continue moving, intending to find out what is hidden in the depths of the trials. At this time, a huge magic ball demonstrates the duel, and enthusiastic voices are heard around about how quickly the black tiger fell. The men continue to animatedly discuss the recent duel, emphasizing that such a result is impressive even by the standards of the Abyss. However, one of the clergy asks everyone to calm down and suggests focusing on further monitoring of what is happening. The man notes that the Abyss-level trials for level 50 are not just a random fight with one boss, but a much more severe test. As he fends off the next attack, Yahello notes that everything is moving at an unnatural speed, as if the world itself has sped up. The monks are amazed that even the strongest bosses cannot stop Yahello, and begin to wonder if a reincarnated god is hiding under his guise. Through the magic ball, observers see a huge paw of a monster, and begin to argue about what kind of beast such a massive limb could belong to. Suddenly the image disappears abruptly, and the men look at each other in confusion, not understanding what happened to the all-seeing eye. One of the priests states that nothing like this had ever happened before, since the eye was considered a reliable and invulnerable instrument of observation. Ultimately, they come to the conclusion that the power of the attack was so great that the magical eye simply could not withstand its impact. Meanwhile, Yahello leans against the rock, catches his breath, and reflects that the Abyss trial is truly not for the weak. The guy realizes that the last two bosses were monarch level, and the final one will probably be an immortal level creature. Toad says worriedly that this is an extremely reckless undertaking, and asks to be locked in the animal space, or at least left to wait at the entrance. The guy states that in the event of death, all debts will go to the Toad and says that they are directed inside. With a sharp movement, Yahello opens the giant gate, and a message comes that the player has entered a deadly threat zone and must leave it immediately. He takes his time peering into the darkness, listening intently to the silence and trying to understand who will become his opponent. The guy notices a colossal creature in the center of the hall and thinks that its level clearly corresponds to the level of the immortal. The creature's stats are fearsome, and its skills are completely hidden and unscannable. Yahello tries to scan the Servant of the Abyss again, and activates the Eye of Wealth skill to get at least some information. Numerous notifications are coming in about the write-off of tens of thousands of gold coins, and Yahello is very upset, because the gold is flowing away like water. The Abyssal Servant's body is incredibly durable, and its area of effect attack deals damage within a 100-meter radius. The boy visibly tenses, realizing how frighteningly powerful the skills of this nightmarish creature are, and that the slightest mistake could cost him his life. The voice of a creature is heard, declaring that anyone who enters the Forbidden Lands will turn to ash. However, Yexiao is not going to retreat and calls his beasts to fight. The phoenix and the green dragon fly towards the creature, and they unleash a stream of furious fire flames upon it. The Servant of the Abyss instantly disappears into space, and appears next to the place where he stood previously. The guy is very surprised at how deftly the enemy dodged the divine fire. The next second, the Servant of the Abyss begins to intensively accumulate dense, pulsating dark energy around its body, preparing for a powerful attack. Yexiao is very worried about his little green dragon and urgently orders him to immediately move to a safe side and dodge the enemy attacks. Suddenly, a powerful, destructive blast of dark energy hits the baby, dealing critical damage of 10,000 health points. However, the brave dragon does not give up and continues to fight. He activates his special skill and unleashes a destructive sound wave of enormous power on the Servant of the Abyss. The mighty phoenix joins his furious attack, and together they deal critical damage to the servant for 10,000 health. The boy proudly praises his loyal pets for their coordinated actions, as they created a powerful magic block, preventing the enemy from casting spells. The beasts enter a second round of attack, and again mercilessly unleash powerful streams of furious divine flame on the creature. The creature screams loudly in pain and rage, and threateningly declares that it will definitely tear these pathetic, despicable mortals into bloody pieces. At that moment, it releases a powerful beam of energy, coming straight from the sky. Yexiao dodges the blast and realizes that the god is activating the ultra level. A moment later, his pets find themselves under a powerful energy dome. The guy summons the god of destruction, because if the servant changes his skill, it will be 100% pure damage. Yexiao has only one thing left to do: take a risk and go all in. He clenches his fists, feeling the power pulsating inside him. He activates his golden shield and makes his way towards the energy sphere, striking it with his horn. The young man receives a powerful blow that throws him far to the side. The guy curses loudly from impotence and says with irritation that the enemy's magical armor turned out to be too strong for normal attacks. During this tense time, the Servant of the Abyss concentrates a huge amount of dark energy around itself and transforms it into a powerful destructive vortex of death. The whirlwind grows stronger and more powerful with each passing second, and begins to inexorably suck in the animals against their will. Yexiao intends to continue attacking the enemy fiercely, hoping deep down that the next blow will definitely break through his magical defense. The guy bravely fights his way through dangerous streams of raging dark energy and delivers a powerful blow with his legendary artifact directly to the protective sphere. A deafening, powerful explosion of incredible force occurs, which completely destroys the enemy's protective energy sphere into small, sparkling fragments. Yexiao loudly orders his loyal beasts to immediately escape from the deadly trap while there is still such a chance. They instantly run away with all their might, while a powerful energy vortex continues to relentlessly pursue them. The guy, without slowing down his frantic pace, rushes forward to the exit, and loudly orders his animals to immediately leave the dangerous kill zone. A deafening, powerful, fiery explosion is heard, which, with incredible destructive force, throws the young man far beyond the magical gates. A golden shield saves the boy from a terrible blow, but this salvation costs him more than 100 million gold coins. He slowly and with extreme caution enters the room and sees that everything around has been turned into a pile of wood chips. Yexiao hopefully assumes that the boss has been destroyed, carefully examines the destroyed space and approaches the huge body, noticing the lack of trophies. After some time, a brightly sparkling crystal appears in the air, emitting a dazzling glow. This is another fragment of the abyss, the fifth in a row, but its characteristics are unknown, and identification is impossible. Yexiao takes the crystal in his hands, and at that very moment he finds himself blinded by a bright flash of energy. The remaining parts of the fragments suddenly appear nearby and instantly merge into a single whole. After this, the crystals begin to glow brightly, gradually merge into a single object and turn into the key of the abyss, which possesses destructive power. The guy looks at the key that appears with genuine surprise, and thinks about what exactly he can open with its help. At the same time, players receive mass notifications that the Night Hunter has successfully completed the level 50 abyssal trials. Many people begin to envy the guy, and claim that only donors with enormous financial resources can reach such a level. One of the players loudly declares that Yexiao is in a different location, and now they can farm peacefully without any competition. Xiao moves to the Supreme Temple, and is clearly surprised to find that the place is completely empty. The toad asks the young man whether he really teleported to the exact place he intended to. The cult members move to the next room, believing that this was where the magic ball would begin to work, and the image would appear at any moment. Xiao quietly creeps up to them and subtly wonders what exactly they are all doing here at the moment. One of the men tells the guy that if he wants to pass the test, he will have to wait, to which Xiao replies, "What if he has already passed it?" The elders turn their gaze away from the magic ball and focus it intently on the boy. Xiao proudly declares that he has just passed the Abyss's trial. The guy confirms his words once again and adds that he has not yet received the award, after which he asks to formalize everything. The man notices the toad and asks if he really went through the ordeal with such a pet. A respected elder of the community suddenly interrupts their lively conversation, wanting to know what power level the final boss had. The people present in the room were greatly surprised and shocked to learn from the young man that the level of the last opponent was immortal, of the highest category of power. The elder respectfully asks the young man to follow him to a separate room for an important conversation. The boy reminds him once again of the reward, but the old man asks him not to rush, first leading him to the core of the sanctuary so that he can accept the blessing of the will of the world. Xiao is very interested in the words of blessing and tries to understand their meaning with special attention. After some time, they find themselves near a huge shining tree. The old man begins to tell that this is not God, but the will of the divine tree. The tree begins to shine even brighter. The elder asks to accept the blessing. During the ritual, you need to wait a little, and the man is about to move away. At this time, a bright aura flares up around the guy. The glow becomes incredibly intense, and Xiao wonders what is happening around him. Enormous waves pierce space, causing powerful vibrations that shake everything around. The radiation becomes so powerful that the guy can hardly stay on his feet. After this, the giant tree begins to grow even larger in size. After a while, the vibrations stop and Xiao looks up in surprise. Brightly glowing blue spheres flare up above the tree, slowly rising into the air and illuminating the surrounding area with a soft, mystical light. The tree's seeds are scattered across the sky and earth, and new life begins to sprout from them. Dwarves, giants, dragons, elves, and goblins, all the ancient peoples, one after another, begin to multiply again, awakened by ancient magic. Enormous dragons circle the skies, and their breath alone is enough to melt an entire mountain. The dwarves master ingenious mechanisms and ways to unleash power many times greater than their own. One day, mysterious aliens appeared on the continent, calling themselves gods, and demanded that all living beings bow down before them. Many races submitted, but the dragons refused to submit, and from that moment on, a bloody war began. One day, the outskirts of the continent were once again consumed by darkness, and with it began an anomalous invasion that disrupted the fragile balance. Xiao comes to his senses and begins to ponder the meaning of his visions, whether the anomalous invasion is connected with the gods. The boy hears a voice that calls him an alien, and asks him to look for traces of the sacred rift, because only its power can stop the onslaught of darkness. The guy touches one of the brightly shining spheres and hears a voice that promises to guide him and illuminate the path. The small sphere turns out to be a celestial oracle, and the boy, having passed the test of the abyss, is recognized as a divine tree worthy of seeking the power of the sacred rift. This divine power will provide clues on the stages, and Xiao must gain the power of the sacred rift to put everything under his control. There are numerous reports that the stats have been increased by 100%, and 5,000 units have been added to the base strength. The aura around the guy begins to shine even more brightly. He thinks that this blessing looks like real cheating. Now, even the cursed creatures are unable to destroy his soul, and combined with the golden shield, this is absolutely imba. Xiao returns to the room. The clergy ask how everything went and whether the goal was achieved. The priest asks, since the tree has recognized the boy, if he would like to join the world's sanctuary. Xiao replies that he has no such plans yet. The man says that if he changes his mind, they will always be glad to see him. Afterwards, he presents the reward for completing the Abyss level, the Divine Stone of Valor, an artifact that is only worthy of those who have managed to overcome the trials of level 50th. Xiao thanks everyone gathered, then cites his busy schedule and says that he has to go. The action moves to a city called Phoenix, where the streets are full of people. The man, in a loud and commanding voice, orders everyone to immediately move aside, forcing passers-by to give way to him. Those around him cast angry glances at the officer and wonder what kind of poor fellow he will get into trouble with today. The man looks closely at the temple and wonders why he still hasn't come out, because his hands are already itching. The knight asks the officer to control himself. warning that if they disrupt the prince's business, their lives will be in danger. The officer says there is no need to worry, he really wants to deal with this Yesiao. After all, his opponent is only level 50, and he is confident that he has nothing to fear. At this moment, Yesiao emerges from the temple and begins to slowly descend the granite steps. The officer is delighted that he has finally appeared, and is eager to play with this upstart. Yesiao sees a group of armed knights and asks who they are, to which the officer asks if he really doesn't recognize them. After this, the man states that he is an executor of the tribunal, and they have received information that someone without registering in the system has violated the rules of the test in purgatory. The elder is very outraged by this outrage, because the hands of the tribunal are already reaching into their sanctuary. The priest states that Mr. Yesiao has passed the 50th level test and is a friend of the temple. The officer asks if this is Yesiao's first time in the capital, and since when has he become a friend of the temple. A nearby knight intervenes in the conversation, announcing that they have arrived on the prince's orders to offer sincere congratulations to the hero of the empire. Leslie is very surprised to see that this knight has instantly changed his mind faster than the pages of a book can be turned. Yesiao listens with a smile as the knight congratulates him, genuinely admiring him. Later the guy asks the two to dance. The priest says that it is not a bad idea, and he heard that the dance is a blessing, a spectacle that is needed. The knight refuses this offer and says that he is a bad dancer. Yesiao tells the elder that the couple doesn't seem to be eager to congratulate him with a dance. Leslie starts to get very nervous and feels extremely awkward in this situation. However, he does not want to bring the matter to a conflict and reluctantly agrees to this. At the very last moment, Yesiao unexpectedly stops them. The knight sighs with relief. At this moment, Yesiao orders them to dance in the central square, because there are more people there. This unexpected statement greatly shocks the self-confident Leslie. He simply cannot believe his own ears, and stands in complete stupor from what he has heard. With great reluctance and visible humiliation, they head to the main city square, involuntarily attracting the increased attention of numerous passers-by. Passers-by smile cheerfully at each other, and curiously wonder who taught this impudent, arrogant Leslie a lesson so wittily and cruelly. The girl smiles joyfully at what is happening, and tells those around her with satisfaction that such villains and deceivers deserve severe punishment for their misdeeds. Leslie struggles to contain his anger at being humiliated in such a public way, his eyes turning bloodshot. He firmly decides that sooner or later he will definitely take full revenge for this cruel insult and make the offender regret it. Yesiao heads to the teleportation portal, considering these boring, self-absorbed types a waste of precious time. The guy is about to go to a dangerous battlefield. The toad warns him that the place is damn dangerous, and she would not like to go there with him. To this, the guy replies that they have already gone through many dangerous adventures side by side, and asks her not to be afraid, promising that he will move her to the storage at the first sign of danger. Yesiao instantly finds himself in a new location, where a powerful energy field knocks him off his feet. He carefully examines the wasteland, which is completely littered with corpses, and cannot hide his horror at this eerie picture. Fallen bodies stretch to the horizon, and the gloomy atmosphere of this location leaves him deeply shaken. A group of knights appears nearby. One of them asks the guy in surprise if he really ended up here all alone. The knight asks if the young man has decided which corps he is going to join, but he replies that he has not yet decided. He offers the guy to become part of the city guard corps, and then asks him to pay attention to his level 50 gold equipment. He notes that this place is ideal for those seeking stability and profit, as here one can achieve success without unnecessary risk and dangerous battles. Yesiao shrugs, and to the surprise of those around him, says that he doesn't like a place that's too safe. This statement begins to irritate the knights. One of them wonders whether this upstart has really decided to play the lone wolf. Yesiao smiles and replies that something like that, and then asks for directions to the nearest forge. They tell him that from the city gates he needs to go west, where an old blind man works, who, although he can't see anything, does everything very quickly. The guy thanks him for the information provided, and his subordinate quietly tells his commander that this young man is definitely crazy. The knight sighs heavily. He thinks that Yesiao seems like a smart guy, and hopes that he will not perish on the battlefield. A long line of players formed at the blacksmith's workshop, located away from the main gate. Yesiao thinks that this seems to be the right place and is surprised by the huge number of people gathered here. The guy thinks that he has status and will be able to go inside without having to stand in line. The players waiting for the master begin to loudly complain about Yesiao trying to cut in line. One of the men asks to be quiet and suggests taking a close look at the badge on the guy's chest. The huge blacksmith is surprised to recognize in this sign the Order of Valor, confirming the high status of the hero. In front of them stands the same guy who recently passed the Abyss-level trials and earned respect. The boy wonders how the blacksmith saw the sign if he is blind. The man replies that he does not see, but clearly feels the power of the emblem. He invites Yexiao to his forge. The guy says that he wants to pump up this sign as much as possible. The man says he can do it without any problem, and since the guy is going to the battlefield, he has one request. His son went into the Lord's forest a few days ago and didn't return, and if the boy helps, the blacksmith is ready to give him a heroic rank artifact. A smile appears on Yexiao's face, because in addition to all the bonuses, the hidden quest also worked. The players standing nearby become worried upon hearing about the mysterious forest, and ask why the old man is sending the boy to slaughter, since even the Holy Legion wouldn't go there. This doesn't frighten Yexiao. He accepts the task and asks the blacksmith to strengthen the equipment for now. The players carefully observe the glow of the materials, and realize that they are looking at a legendary artifact. The blacksmith does his job and displays a badge of valor, which increases strength by 150%, adds charisma and resistance to enemy attributes. Yexiao was genuinely happy, because the emblem with the divine stone of valor turned out to be even cooler than he expected. The boy thanks the blacksmith for his help, and goes to the mysterious forest to try to find the man's missing son. The players watch the young man with caution, and wonder if he really intends to go alone to this ill-fated place. The sacred artifact begins to shine brightly. The guy believes that this could be a clue related to the sacred rift. The sphere becomes noticeably larger, and a voice is heard calling Yexiao a hero who has fulfilled his destiny and urging him to go into the forest. Yexiao decides that before heading into the forest, he needs to level up a little to be prepared for the dangers. The passage is blocked by huge bars, from which a harsh wind blows, creating the feeling of an insurmountable obstacle. The guard at the gate stops the guy and demands that he undergo mandatory registration. He registers and receives a token. The knight warns that the token must always be with him, otherwise his combat merits will not be counted. They follow the young man with their eyes and begin to quietly whisper, wondering if he really is crazy to go there alone. A moment later, Yexiao finds himself in a new, eerie location, and is greatly struck by how deserted and gloomy this place looks. Loud screams are heard, and several creepy creatures appear on the horizon, causing alarm with their terrifying appearance. Yexiao understands that this place is truly not for the weak, as creatures of level 50 and above are about to attack him. He lets the monsters get closer to him, after which he summons his faithful companion, Phoenix. The divine bird swiftly takes to the air and unleashes streams of fire on the monsters, incinerating everything around. The giant, terrifying creatures are instantly engulfed in deadly flames, and Yexiao begins to gain battle points. The points keep increasing. Yexiao thanks Phoenix and says that he did a great job. After this, the guy checks his statistics and notices that, despite the huge number of monsters killed, he hasn't even gained 500 units of combat experience. Realizing that collecting the armor will take forever, he frustratedly searches for another way, and soon spots an elite boss, hoping to get a generous loot from him. The action moves to another location, where a player named the Mechanic approaches a huge, defeated bear. The young warrior admires his powerful blow, as he managed to destroy the elite boss with just one blow. The guy checks his stats and thinks that with this kind of farm today he'll definitely break into the top 100 in combat achievements. The overall player ranking statistics appear on the screen, where Yexiao is unexpectedly in first place. The guy swears loudly in frustration. He has once again surfaced in the lead. After some time, Yexiao's name suddenly disappears from the leaderboard without explanation, leaving the guy wondering in confusion what kind of strange glitch is happening to the system. Player number 2 quickly rises to the top of the rankings and takes first place, which is a sure sign that he has successfully destroyed a dangerous elite boss. The Phoenix dives down from the sky, carrying with it an all-consuming divine flame, ready to mercilessly incinerate all living things in its path. A gigantic wave of red-hot divine fire crashes down on the monster from above, completely engulfing its entire massive body in furious flames. A message arrives stating that Phoenix's power level has been increased by 100% of its base value, and that his spirit and agility stats have also been significantly increased. Yexiao checks his stats and is delighted to learn that he will soon earn 100,000 combat experience. The guy asks Phoenix not to stop and orders him to move forward immediately. Players receive a mass message informing them that Night Hunter has entered the top 100 in the battlefield merit ranking. Players are buzzing about this news, saying that at this rate, Yexiao will break into the top 10, as he already has over 100,000 combat experience. A huge number of players in Feng City continue to discuss the guy, and believe that he is simply a real monster. They admire the fact that Yexiao has only just visited the capital and has already quickly shot to the top of the rankings. After some time, Yexiao reaches a mysterious dark forest, where the next stage of his journey begins. The toad sitting on the guy's shoulder begins to become noticeably nervous, and says that she feels uneasy in this creepy place. Yexiao tells her to calm down and reflects that in theory this forest should be full of high-level bosses. The captain of the watch is on a high observation tower, carefully surveying the surrounding area, assessing the situation. An officer approaches him and informs him that he has an urgent message that requires immediate attention. An agitated officer reports that intelligence indicates a Lord-level boss is heading towards their camp, leading a horde of mid-level monsters numbering several hundred. The captain immediately gives the order to prepare to repel the attack, his voice sounding firm and decisive, because he is fully aware of the seriousness of the impending threat. He tells the soldiers that the monsters intend to destroy their outpost, and orders them to prevent this by fighting valiantly for the honor of the Third Corps. The soldiers support his speech with loud shouts, and declare that they will fight to the end for the glory of the Third Corps. The lookout reports that he has observed movement at the edge of the forest. A huge number of glowing horns appear in the darkness. The captain is very surprised to notice this, because the number of approaching monsters turns out to be simply unimaginable. Eerie demonic deer begin to emerge from the forest, emitting ominous energy and ready to attack. They instantly rush to attack the people, and with a powerful blow scatter the first rows of defenders to the sides. The enraged creatures rush at great speed towards the fortified camp, sweeping away everything in their path. The sergeant orders the soldiers to hold back the onslaught of the ice deer. The captain watches the progress of the battle closely. He gives the order to attack the enemy's flanks and under no circumstances to collide with him head-on. After which he gives an urgent command to the archers to take up their battle positions on the hill and prepare to fire a volley at the enemy. The archers quickly line up in tight rows on the rampart. They draw their bowstrings and disciplinedly wait for the command of the senior officer to shoot. A loud order is given to open fire, and hundreds of arrows simultaneously strike the first wave of advancing ice deer. The captain orders that the pressure on the enemy not be relaxed, as the first ranks of the attackers are already beginning to roll back under a hail of arrows. At this tense moment, a giant deer appears at the edge of the dark forest, and judging by the powerful aura, this boss is a dangerous anomaly. The captain immediately realizes that before them is the king of the deer, the leader of the entire horde, and orders the soldiers to prepare to repel the next furious attack. A murmur of alarm runs through the front ranks of the fighters. They experience great fear, because this mad horde of animals is rushing straight towards them.